right, cool. This is happening. This is literally happening, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. Welcome everyone. This is BoxCon Global Convention number 3. It's going on. This is heavy stuff, heavy duty stuff. I'm Baksho. I'm the co-founder of Beatbox Bangladesh, and two things happening today that I absolutely love. Number 1, beatboxing. Number 2, history. Put them together, and we have History of Beatboxing today. I just can't wait. And I've got so many amazing people around me right now from different parts of the world. And of course, key players in the beatbox community, the OGs, and everyone that's been doing their stuff in their place, but of course, making impact throughout the entire community. Even though I'll do a small introduction of those who are around me right now on screen, I'll also kind of go to them so they can introduce themselves, right? So cool. Hoping everyone's all good, everyone's fine. You know, drop some ish in the comment section. Yeah. All right, we got D.Cross. Yeah. We got Faya Braz. We got Chesney Snow. We got Beatbox IMO. And of course, hopefully we're hoping Dougie Fresh can join in later on. But right now, it's all beatbox history and everything. But you know what? On the screen, as we can see, we'll go clockwise and kind of do an intro. So let's start with D.Cross.
Peace, everybody. My name is D.Cross, the artist, vocal beat expressionist, current resident of Brooklyn, New York, Queens, New York native. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
What
over to Faya Braz. Yeah, over to Faya Braz.
Hello, I'm Faya Braz from Paris. I've been beatboxing for 24 years, something like that. I've been beatboxing all my life, and I'm really happy to be there tonight because we will speak about something really important and interesting, and it has to be shown and explained.
Totally.
Really, thank you for inviting.
All right, we're super honored here. This is absolutely mind-blowing. This is happening. I'm sure everyone who's watching this, they're like, whoa. All right, Beatbox IMO, over to you.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, IMO, founder of Beatbox Culture South Africa. It's a big honor for me to be here and represent Africa. First and foremost, I feel there's a lot of history that's been missed out from Africa as well, as a part of the beatbox culture and the international community. And I feel that it's, like I say, a big honor for me to stand and represent the continent, not only my country. Thank you guys for having me.
Cool, awesome, dope. And Chesney Snow. Yeah, let's try to fix the audio, hopefully. We'll get back to Chesney again. Apologize for that. Okay. Anyways, guys, everyone who's watching right now, like I said, I'll just read out the stuff. Everyone's going like ash all over. Yeah, that's just dope. Anyways, I just want to say this. What's important, even though we are in the age of internet right now, information. Yes, that is something that we have to search. Yes, I know, but it's not ample. I believe we have to look deeper into where, what, when, and why for beatboxing. And it isn't just where it began, how it rolled out to every other part of the world and how much of an impact it had. But the history is important because we have to go back to the roots every now and then, no matter how big we get, no matter how better we get, no matter how strong we get, the roots, they're important. I hope we can hear Chesney Snow right now. Can we get a hello? No, he can't hear. I'm so sorry. Oh, you can hear. All right. So he can't say. I hope we're going to fix this very soon. All right. Let's do this. And hopefully we can hear Chesney when he's speaking, and he's right here. All right. So as I was saying, roots, completely important. This is absolutely important. Let's start with the typical question. Where did beatboxing start? And let's start because I know D.Cross is from Brooklyn, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm missing out any points there. How and where did it begin?
All right, so originally I'm from Queens, but Brooklyn. I've been in Brooklyn for 20 some odd years, almost 30 years. So beatboxing is human beatboxing, as I understand it, as I got this from Doug. Hopefully Doug pops back on, but Doug was the first name that I heard use the title human beatbox. However, so I would say, coming from Doug's mouth, Doug said he was absolutely the root, just in hip hop, being able to go into the beginnings of just like what we now call human beatboxing. Although there are other art forms, vocal art forms that make music with their mouth, they don't necessarily identify as human beatboxing. However, the first human beatboxer that I heard was Buffy Darren Robinson from the Fat Boys. And this was in 1984. Doug's name I had already heard in like 1982. So I heard Buffy in 1984 when he came out with the Fat Boys, or when it was still the Disco 3. And he had the distinctive sound where he would have and I heard that, but then a little bit later on that year, I heard the clicks of Doug like. Now, same year, a lot of people think Rozelle came way in the 90s. Nah, same year I actually heard about him because he was out there. Rozelle was out there, Biz Markie was out there, and the whole culture, or the beginnings of the culture of human beatboxing, was starting to bubble, specifically in the in the New York area, then the tri-state area. But one of the things that happened when the Fat Boys dropped their first album, a lot of different people started to be exposed to this whole new sound because they got a chance to be able to tour, and they got a chance to go overseas. They got a chance to do the Fresh Fest, and people started becoming familiar with those sounds. So you have a lot of other OGs or original beatboxers that don't necessarily always get the credits.
Right.
Doug, we got to start with Doug. We got to start with Buff. We got to start with Biz. We got to start with Rozelle. But then there were also other ones that were out there, like Mix Machine Wise from Stetsasonic.
Right.
He was out there doing
what a
thing.
Dope crew. Yeah.
And then you also gotta look at just the sound effects of Michael Winslow that was already out there. See, he was on television doing things on a show called The White Shadow as an actor, but he was making like these noises and sounds, and it was something that could be connected to. So all of that was out there. And then in the 80s, mid 80s, you had a whole surge in hip hop where people had to have a human beatbox in their crew to be able to make music when there was no boombox, or just to make music to be able to just be loud. So you had human beatboxers that were going from neighborhood to neighborhood. They were battling. Rozelle was one who was doing that, going to neighborhoods and neighborhood battling. Then you had brothers out there that was going from neighborhood to neighborhood battling, like DOA. We're talking mid 80s now. So one of the things that was happening is the sound was spreading, and it started to become popular and recorded. You also have pioneers that also don't get enough love, like Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth. He started out as a human beatbox.
Right.
For Mantronics. You also have on the low somebody, and this is for the ladies. I don't know if you knew that Queen Latifah started off as a human beatbox.
Yeah.
You had K Love from the group The Bad Boys. So there were a list of beatboxers that started. And the whole swarm of just saying, okay, it's becoming popular. The 80s came, and one of the things that happened was the art form, or at least the popularity of the art form, sort of went down. So with the exception of Doug, Bismarcky, and Rozelle, for a time period, nobody wanted to hear anybody beatboxing. But Ra was definitely one of the ones who kept it strong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a lot that's out there. My thing is just like, I think that it's always best to hear people's stories and people's histories from them. Oh snap! I see Ra in the Streamline track. Ra would be dope to hear the story, to hear the story from Ra, because Ra has a story to be able to tell from his beginnings. Everybody's beginnings is different. So I want to, I don't want to go on and on, because there are other people who want to be able to give their takes on the beginnings as they know it.
All right. I do want to roll this over to Chesney. I hope he can hear us this time, but if not, we'll get back to him ASAP. The thing is, even though beatboxing originated or started off on the coast of at the region that you mentioned where it did, and it spread, but at the same time, these the impact started happening in different parts of the world as time went on. So I would like to move forward to Europe right now, and Faya Braz. So what I want to know is, yes, we know the origin as we are discussing, and we know some of the individuals that started it, did their bits, including D.Cross himself. How did it reach France and the countries nearby? And how can we go back and actually understand the people who started beatboxing in France actually understood the origin itself and wanted to dig further and get better, represent? That's
the main topic, basically. What I want to say is that France, the reason why we can explain today why France has a so good level of beatboxing. And when I spoke with Rozelle, he really gives the same point of view, is that France and US have always been like that for the hip-hop culture. It means that hip-hop came to Europe by France, by Paris. And basically in Europe, the country that produces the most hip-hop and consume the most hip-hop is France. And it has been the case since the 80s, early 80s. So we had beatboxers back then. We had beatboxers like Chic, like Salim, like Fat, like people like that, and like Amar, like people like that who were really into beatbox culture, because they were in hip-hop culture, deep hip-hop culture, way before the other countries in Europe. And that's why the hip-hop background is so strong in France, that when it finally blew up later, it's because of this. It's because the older our elders in France did the job for the hip hop wise. I mean, I know a lot of people today will claim hip hop is not beatbox, but I don't agree, because hip hop beatbox comes from here. And actually, I could prove it, because 80% of the beatbox which is represented in internet and on the mainstream media now is via battle. What is battle is strictly hip hop form. So, we have crews, we have battle, we have things like that. So any denying of this is truly denying what beatbox is. And this is one of the reasons that explains why France brought hip hop to Europe, and then with the hip hop beatbox came, and then this is how it came to Europe basically, and this is how I discovered beatbox when I was a teenager via cassettes when I was at school. And first beatboxers I heard was the same as D.Cross said, like was the Fat Boys, Dougie Fresh. I remember me listening to some Click Roll at the high school. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I want to do this, you know? And then later with Razel, main thing is Razel. Razel changed the game. I mean worldwide, but he changed the game because he's the guy who strangely brought back beatbox to the top level, and he did it in Europe. Speak with him, he will tell you the same. He brought him worldwide here because he was famous in the States already, as D.Cross said. He brought it to the main stage, 98, something like that, 97, 97. He came to France and did a special showcase with a French rap group called I.M, and they invited him on a track called Dangerous, and the vocal scratch on the track are Razel. And then they brought him. They are super famous here. When they put out their album, they invited Razel to do a showcase, and this showcase changed the game for the beatbox in Europe. This is the showcase that brought beatbox to Europe, because it came to France, and all the beatboxers of my generation, I mean, in France, Mike Spawn, LOS, Ezra, Downplayer, all these people, they all saw this video, this video. This video was a shock, you know? And he was on the Cryptid channel. So I got a guy from my hood. He gave me a cassette because I was beatboxing a bit with him, and I was rapping at the time. I just watched the cassette. I was like, rewind like 1,000 times. And I was like, what is this? And all the French hip hop was in the venue. That was crazy. This legendary. And this brought back really beatbox on another level in Europe. And it started the beatbox to breathe back, because beatbox energy was going down in the 90s, you know. Right. Even in the US, it was going down. It came back in the 2000s because it really blew up with Razel. Really, from a Europe point of view, this is what happened. From France point of view, this is what happened, and it can explain the level of France today. Really,
right. Interesting that you use the word, breathing back, and how everything kind of went off in the 90s, and then the 2000 is when it sprung back. So you also I was about to ask another question, how it came from US to France, and you actually answered it. And I understand, and I'm sure if I may, and I'm not trying to insult definitely anyone, especially the millennials, how things are really fast and smooth and quick right now because of internet. Like, I get to see some of my favorite beatboxers and OGs right now on screen, and it's amazing. That wouldn't have been possible back then. Like, what? Who? Then, as you said, rewinding and all. So what I want to get back to is, we knew there's a word in Bangla. It's mormo. It means how much in depth the passion that you have and want to go back to it just to see it. It's not like a quick thing. How did it travel to? I'm going to switch all the way to IMO right now. Before that though, I just want to make sure Chesney can hear. Chesney can speak. Okay, yes, can we do a quick sound check? And please, anyone who's watching right now, drop your love in the comment box, and we're just gonna work it out, and let's see what's up. Yep. I can't hear him. I can see him on the screen, but as well from the other place, but I can't hear him. All right, let's try to solve it while I quickly go to IMO right now. Let's see if that works. All right, so IMO, it's a deep question. Bear with me, and of course, those who are watching, I hope everyone bears with me. I love asking in-depth stuff. Like I said, this is my passion, the history and beatboxing. See, hip-hop, and I want to go back to what Faya Braz said. Hip-hop, if anyone says, no, it's a different thing, it's outside, but like battle and everything, it's great how everything connects back to that. And as it's mentioned, the fifth element, right? But when we say Africa, it's a completely different matter. History says, out of many countries, and if we go back like roots down, like up there, it has been there. Not beatboxing, but the vocal percussion sounds, the sounds from the body. It has been there. It has been there. So What I want to know, and when you're speaking from Africa, from South Africa right now, representing the continent and the country in South Africa as well, how did that come in? And with something that existed for eons, and then beatboxing, a new word that you heard that came from hip hop as well. How did that come together, and how did beatboxing come in? And or did it exist already in South Africa, and that the new word for it just kind of popped in and something changed?
To be honest, in my personal experience, I grew up, D.Cross mentioned the date that a year that I was literally born in 84. And
high five on that.
yeah, so I'd say something. I'd say something for the OGs that had started the culture up in the States, that this is something beyond some of the people sitting on this panel's age. So it starts, for me personally, it started in America. The exposure that I had was based on TV, Michael Winslow, Police Academy, sound effects, trying to imitate voices. And I think, to speak on behalf of the South African community, there is shout out to Black Noise and to POC. I think I speak under correction about the late 80s. In POC, hip hop, a South African hip hop crew, was recognized in the time of apartheid, or towards the end of the apartheid regime. There was a beatboxer by the name of Jasmo that was actually a part of this little hip hop crew. In later years, I know Black Noise would be Emil XY, that then later came on to going into the teaching of the boom bap style of beatboxing, but it was more to the understanding of the Khoi and the San people who originated down in the Western Cape in South Africa, who actually spoke using clicks in their narration. Right. So when they'd speak, it was a lot more. So it's different variations of clicks that was a means of communication for the Khoi and the San. And this was something that Emil XY was teaching, I think, from like the mid-90s. And up till today, these guys are still the old school boom bap beatboxers that were influenced, I'm pretty sure, most likely by Dougie Fresh, as D.Cross mentioned, or Rizal, because those were the two main figures within the States at that time that had influence through the hip-hop scene. And that's how beatboxing was taught here, as the fifth element to the hip-hop. Right. And that's how I came to understand it. I mean, the first element of hip-hop is knowledge of self, and that is the one thing that you carry throughout beatboxing, knowledge of self, understanding how the mouth works and the processing, of sounds and things like that. So for me, the foundation in South Africa would be that it stems off from hip-hop. But then deeper research shows that local mother tongues, the Xhosa, the Zulu, the Khoi and the San, those clicks that were used then were also something that influenced and inspired at a later stage musicality through using that, and then could have been developed into beatboxing, which was later named by Dougie Fresh. So to my understanding and personal experience, that would be the history of South African beatbox. I think it was in the upcoming of the apartheid regime where the hip hop scene started coming out, and especially within the colored community, that beatboxing came out with POC and Black Noise. Yeah.
All right. So those who are wondering and you're thinking, all right, I know this bit of history. Okay, I know a bit of history from Europe, and I know a bit of history from Africa, South Africa, and what's happening. That there's so much we still need to know. And I am also getting to know so much. It's amazing. By the way, I do want to give a shout out because we do have Razel commenting while we're doing this. He's right here. And it's amazing. It's yes.
You can hear me now.
Finally.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yo,
right.
Love, man. Miss you, brother.
you've been here, but you know the whole thing that's been happening. So
Yeah, I saw.
I hope all's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right, so
It is.
I'll go
I'm glad
back.
to be here.
I'll go back over the ocean to the other side, back to where we were talking about D.Cross and everything, the U.S. side. So we have had different generations. Something that Faya Braz mentioned, how 90s, like the early 80s, that was the cap. That was the time. Then, you know, something between 90 to 2000, it dropped down. Then something happened after 2000, it started picking up. So I do want to go back to the history part, but I also want to talk about how it was carried forward and what happened in the decades, the 80s and the 90s. If you could, you know, give us your perspective.
Okay. So if we're looking at just like the 90s, one of the things that happened specifically in the 90s when a lot of people weren't messing with beatboxing, you had active human beatboxers. You know, we actually have one of them in the chat rooms that's doing it. You know, Rozelle kept it alive and well alive. Myself as a student of it and someone who was doing it, I was like, yo, this just can't die. You had people like DOA, you had people like Kenny Muhammad who were keeping this art form alive. You had Scratch from the Roots. You had so many people. You had my man King Luck, also known as Kid Lucky. And one of the things that happened, I mean, the list goes on and on. Emanon, my man Emanon out there. And there's just so many names. I mean, but anyway, a lot of the human beatboxers that were still continuing the crafts, they were sort of dispersed. One of the things that did happen specifically on the underground of New York, early 2000s, I was able to meet a gentleman by the name of King Luck, and and he was like, "Yo, like we got all of these beatboxers that are out. It be them because he's kind of feisty with things. He's like, yo, all the rest of hip hop is not recognizing beatboxers. So he's like, yo, well, what about bringing? Yes, definitely. Click the Super Latin. What up? Legend from the West Coast, L.A.
Clicks in here.
And
He's watching. He's what I spoke to him. He's watching. He's watching.
Oh, wow. Yo, Click.
Shout out to Click.
You know, and all of them, they were like, yo, well, how can, this is going all the way to the 2000s, yo, how can we make a presence to be able to get all of the props that human beatboxers deserve and make sure that the shine is not just on the MCs, not just on the graph writers, not just on the DJs, and he just had this idea like, yo, let's find a way to get them all together, and came up with the idea of Beatboxer Entertainment, which was the first booking company that booked primarily just human beatboxers. So that was a time where a whole new grassroots movement was starting. And then also you got to understand in the poetry underground circus, there were a lot of different human beatboxers that were rocking. Rozelle was one of those. In that, he was with a group called the Vibe Chameleons. We rocked with for a little while, and bringing that energy. I found myself being able to find a voice through taking poetry and mixing it with beatboxing, and it became an organic movement. So the thing is it translated once the internet hit, then there was no longer a lull, and also the fact that Ra was out there with the Roots, Ra, Scratch, DOA, and people got a chance to see more Kenny Muhammad, and so it was like peaking. Now, the funny thing is, in the U.S., a lot of people were still sleeping, but internationally, that giant was being woken up. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
I do look what we're getting here and what we know, and of course from sources about history itself, the legends and their contributions. I want to go to Chesney right now because I believe not just sticking to knowing where it's from, where it was implemented, which actually took things forward, is my next question. So, Chesney, I know you've been active. You've done a lot of work, and of course, you started off. You're one of the co-founders of the championship, American Beatbox Championship, as well. How do you think, and to your knowledge as well and your experience, how much of an impact do you think the media had, or I would say the word of mouth had in the 80s in spreading beatbox and the culture itself to people?
I mean, I think it was media played an enormous part, you know, because while it was spreading to places like France, you know, very early on in the 80s, you know, the New York and hip hop also spread throughout this country, you know, in places that I was growing up, you know. So, you know, and I was growing up in Mississippi, you know, which if you've heard of the word, it's quite legendary in itself, you know.
Right.
You know, we didn't have we did we didn't have much at all. You know, there were no like black radio stations, you know what I'm saying, out there, you know. But we were still getting these cassettes, we were still getting these tapes. There wasn't, you know, cable TV kind of kicked in, and then you started to see more. But, you know, we had you know, very little of anything. So yeah, so the the way that media existed, which was really in the form of like, you know, clubs and underground tapes and like how people spread stuff, you know, like the way that hip hop moved, you know what I mean? You know, like we were getting the cassette tapes of the Ghetto Boys and like, you know, like the stuff that was kind of popping off in the 80s, because by that time hip hop was all around the country. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
like it in terms of the like the spark of, you know, what it meant for people, or what like or like the impact that it had, you know, like, you know, you know, kind of going back and forth between Mississippi and Chicago and kind of seeing hip hop culture come, it was synonymous with just life. And that was the thing that I try to tell students, you know, like um I feel like here when I go into a school and like young kids, they don't know, like they never break dance, they never rap, they never beatbox, they never did any of these things. You know, when back then, you know, when I was kind of coming up, it was like everybody did that.
Right.
That was the only way to express yourself. So it was like every playground that you went to, it was just like a culture of life. And then if you want to talk about the media, when the media came in and realized its power, you know, they immediately used it the same way they kind of use sex, you know, as a means to control people, you know. And so they dominated, and then they infiltrated, and the reason that I say, you know, sex is like, you know, once they commodify it and commercialize it, right? They're stripping away the true natural law of the power of it from the psychology, you know, from the soul of the people, you know, and that perverts it and then weaponizes it, you know. And so something as beautiful as music can become a weapon when it's actually in its core creation meant to give life.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And so
And
in terms of like how the media and the progression and like my part in it, you know, it was shocking to me because when I came in and like met D and you know and everyone and like in the New York scene when I moved to New York, I think I was too young to really understand what appropriation and co-opting really was doing. Right? I was so into trying to make a living and a career and like, you know, trying to feed a family, you know, trying to like have a life and busy with that, that I didn't really have time. I mean, like I knew about control and power and all these different things, but I didn't really have the time to sit down and really analyze, you know, what the whole kind of like, I call it like the master plan was. So when I saw it being like the story being retold, the story being rewritten, the story like wanting to erase the story as if we didn't matter. When most people, I think, who beatbox, like who are in beatbox, understand that it's life, saves your life. You know, everyone that I know knows it saves life, right?
It has positive impacts on all of us.
And so you think about it, and then as you get older, you start understanding. And I was just kind of having this conversation earlier, you know, before we jumped into this chat. If sound can be used as a weapon, I mean, like the military actually makes sound weapons, right? Right. Then certainly the opposite is true. And so that's why they go after artists so severely. That's why they try to control the um, how it's used and what gets displayed and who proceeds. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think for beatbox, in my opinion, and I'll leave it at this, is like it was so like I would get upset sometimes. I ain't gonna lie, because I feels like beatboxing was just getting written off in hip hop. You know, like that was one of the reasons why I identified with what Luck was saying. You know, when I met Luck, you know, it's like it to me the core of just creating a vibration and making someone feel. How is that not paramount? How is that not life changing? How is that not the most important significant thing? You know what I mean? So I don't know. But I remember like when I was talking to Zap Mama, and she was like one of the like she opened my eyes really to this, you know, years ago, you know, when she was basically like every note, everything is to heal, heal, you know? And I think right now what's really important is that that's what we're called to do. That's what we have to do, you know? And they study us, and they and when I say they, I mean like, you know, the entertainment industry, which I'm just answering your questions to finish, the media, right? They control all of this shit, man. I'll give you an example with the American Championships, right? Right? It was very difficult to get any sponsor here that was going to drop any significant amount of money for anything, even though they saw beatboxing blowing up all over the world. They saw it. You know, the videos were there, right? But what YouTube did was like Google controlled all advertising.
Yep.
So why is a corporation going to give you $5,000 or $10,000? You know, when they're going to put their advertisings on your shit for free, they already got an account with them. You know, so it wasn't till Jay Roby, you know, from Tribe, you know, who used to beatbox with Fife, if you know, if y'all know, you know, like I wouldn't say that we weren't getting any support, you know, because at the you know, like Rod definitely came through for that too, you know. People came through, you know, but it was really Jay Roby that was like, yo, when he put his name on it, I mean, because seeing that gave us an event that it could actually make it happen. You know what I mean? Because in New York, it's like, Nas was doing a free show right down the street. You know what I mean? Like the shit is always popping in New York. So anyway, I don't want to ramble on, but I think that right now we're in a really critical moment because the power that we have to heal people is immeasurable. You can't measure that. Like what I was just talking about how, like, in February, right before this COVID thing hit here, right? I was doing a show in Wisconsin. I was doing like a week-long series of shows, and I do these workshops with the kids. And so the kids, they like the second graders, third graders, 10 years old. They come into the classroom, and you say like, how's everybody doing? What's up? Everyone says good, right? And this little girl, she says terrible.
Pretty
And I
straightforward.
said, well, I hope by the end of this, this workshop, you feel a little bit better. And so through the workshop, she's like, she's participating, she's making sounds, she's getting into like beatbox is bringing her, alive. And then, anyway, at the end of the school day, when I'm doing this performance for the whole school, when the kids are coming up to get your autograph, there's that little girl, right? And so she comes up to him to get my autograph, and then I realize that it's a picture. She hands me a picture, and I look at it, and it's just like, this is a picture of my mom was killed 2 days ago. I'm 10 years old, double homicide, former football player. She's 10 years old. She's the oldest of 4 children. This from a murdered 23-year-old woman who was stabbed to death in the streets just a couple days ago. Right. She says, "Can you sign this picture for me?" You take. I mean, I think everyone in this chat knows how you take pause and understand the moment that you're in. Like, what do you write on that? And I could see the teachers in the background with their tears, in their eyes. And then, like, as I'm packing up my gear, getting ready to leave the school, the teacher is like, I don't know if you know, but like, she starts to tell me what happened to this young girl, what she was dealing with. And I said, she said, and her mom was being trafficked. She was very poor. That's the only photograph she has of her mother. And, and I was and it humbled me to the point where I was basically like, man, because we all live in life. Like, I'm going through shit in my life. And I'm thinking that moment made me understand purpose. Made me understand what we're doing is bigger than us. Because if my life was just to kind of exist for this little girl right here in this moment, to give her a couple moments of smile or laughter, or to participate with her friends, to be like, because that little 10-year-old girl's going through something that most people on this earth can't even imagine.
Right.
And beatbox did that for her. Right. So when we start to think about the purpose of beatbox or hip hop, or, I mean,
We actually, what's really amazing. No, I am just adding to what you're saying. What I find absolutely beautiful right now. Just look at this. It's beatbox. Just look at what's happening. We have people from the US, we have South Africa, we have France. I'm from Bangladesh. We have people from we have Indians. We have so many people here, and they're one common thing, beatbox. But on the other side, there's different religions, different creed. There's so much happening. And I noticed, I think it was Supersonic. I'm sorry if I ultrasonic. I'm sorry, ultrasonic. Dope young beatboxer. Yeah, she's doing great. And she mentioned beatboxing helped me a lot trying to find myself. How important it is for us to know how what we do may, someone might go like, yeah, whatever, what is this? But how much we have passion for this, how deeply we're rooted towards it, that we want to know so much so that we can grow not only as beatboxers, but as human beings as well on the side. And as you mentioned, that connection that you had with that girl, she is going through completely different thing that you are going through. And then this one thing that just brought you guys together. And she opened up, spoke to you. That
Yeah,
is beautiful. That is
and
beautiful.
it's just like, one of the things. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but me and Taylor McFerrin and Adam Mata, it's kind of worked on. We created a program that's still working today at the Lavelle School for the Blind. It was a beatboxing program called Beat Rockers. That was me and Adam Mata and Taylor McFerrin, and I remember this little girl came in. She can't take any amplified sound, so she had to leave the class. This is like a couple years after we were into the class. And then the next week she came back. Right? Like she literally, because you have to understand the amplified sound's painful to her. Just think about it as somebody's driving nails into your fucking head. Right? This is the Lavelle School for the Blind, where you're not just you're blind, but you have another challenge, right? So you're blind and you have autism. You're blind and you have something else, right? This is a very specialized school in the Bronx. And then, she couldn't. She never made sounds outside of her home, meaning she did not speak. Right? Like this school is a school where, like, if someone tells you like they're approving or disapproving or liking or something, they can push a button. And then after like a couple weeks being in this program, this young girl starts making her first sounds ever outside the home.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
So you start to think about the, and speech therapists and all these people are kind of like, at first very who are you? What are you coming in here like this beat, But then you have to sit there and marvel, at the power, the healing power of beatboxing, and, I think that, that program's still up today, obviously, people probably know about it. But to me, like, that's the core of what we're meant to do is to heal through vibration. So I was very conflicted about starting the American Beatbox Championship, because at the core of that time, for me, it was like competition, or the idea of competition goes into this idea of scarcity. It can sometimes be dangerous, right? Because the to me, because what it kind of says to people is like, what's the survival of the fittest, right? Right? It's like only the strong survive, right? But species don't actually exist that way on the planet. Everything is balanced. So if you go around killing all of the wolves, then the moose and the elk are gonna overgraze, and so that's gonna cause floods, right? Which will then actually, make unbalance, like take away the balance of the entire ecosystem, right? So you shouldn't kill the wolf just because you don't want the wolf there, right? But this society is so based on death and competition, empowered by death, And what beatboxing is about to me is about like life, right? I remember Swiss Chris at the first championships, he was talking about how like, well, the first drum was the heart, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, yeah.
Life starts with a beat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's totally deep, and it's
I'm so glad to be here with y'all, man.
no, definitely, and it's so much insights and so much that we're getting to know, to be honest. And I came across a message from Dome Beatbox, as you mentioned, and I would conclude what you said as I move on. Beatboxing changed my life. I have a disability, and it helped me conquer dyspraxia. So yeah, man, this means a lot to us. It means
So,
a hell lot to every one of us in our own ways. Yeah.
so hopefully this could be a moment where we get back to the essence or organize ourselves to what we're truly supposed to be.
Right.
And that is like, there was a lot of talk about like, maximum respect, right? Right. Like we're, I always felt that I was part of a very special tradition, like a very unique tradition. And that love and respect that we have for each other really needs to be true and authentic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was first coming here, we were already seeing a lot of the racism, the inherent racism that I can't just put on beatbox itself because it's an ecosystem. It's big, like it's bigger than beatbox, right? It's like the whole shit. But we were such a niche community, right? Such a small group, really. We all, like when the internet hit, we all started to know each other, right? So this could be a moment where I feel like we really organize ourselves as our community to coalesce and really make a stand, to make a message, because we're undeniable,
Right.
Like, and that's pretty proven, right? Like we're undeniable. So it's like the power that we have is not just in our vote or in our voice, but what we do.
Right. Yes.
Do,
And to be honest, I guess that's why none of us wants to stop doing this ever. And as I was saying, it has put like a huge impact in all of our lives, and that's why we're doing this. And no matter what happens, the language itself, kind of, we have our language, but the beatboxing itself is like a universal language, and that
everyone
even
says
makes
that.
it better.
So, and I agree with that. So the thing I said on that chat, we were just on this thing, is like, beatbox is the universal language. What the fuck are we saying?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we saying? That's what I want to like, and right? That's what we really need to articulate. It's like when I listen to Bobby McFerrin's joint, or his music, I'm like, man, that's playing forever. You listen to the classics like Rozell's play for Dougie, play for, like all this stuff play forever. What are we saying? I agree with you. That's what we got to get to at this moment, right? If we are a universal language, right, let's really start articulating and defining what we're saying.
Right, totally, definitely, and everyone agrees.
No.
Everyone agrees in everyone's writing, and they're all like right there. Yes, D.Cross, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was just saying, just making sure that we have the message in our music, message in our sounds, because sounds are vibration. They can heal or they can kill. So we rather heal than kill.
Totally, definitely. Faya Braz, I want to get on your side right now, and as we, to be honest, when I want to explain beatbox to someone, they kind of give me like, what? But if they can only understand the conversation that we're having right now, it is like out there. It's just there. So what I want to talk about is, like I mentioned when I was asking Chesney, and of course what we understood. Besides, let's keep the media aside. Okay, let's keep all of this aside. Let's talk human. When musicians started using beatbox, of course, in music, Stetsasonic, as D.Cross mentioned just a while back, one of the tracks that they did was Talking All That Jazz, and I remember right in between you would have those moments, and the beatboxing, I would like, what's this? It's so dope. So Faya Braz, what I want to know is, how was it when, as France being the center, when it all began in Europe, of our beatboxing to spread, the hip hop to spread, how did it reach people? How did you spread, or how did beatboxing actually go to the person and they were like, wait, that's my language. He's speaking my
That
language.
that's even more. That's even more than that. I can relate to what Chesney said. Thanks to
Right.
Kim, because he just brought me a coffee while I was speaking. It's great friend, brother. Shout out to Kim, because I'm at Kim's house at the moment, and
Right.
I really can relate to what Chesney said, because
Right.
beatboxing is something special. But I would like Chesney to be here to hear, because I really can add something to this. Is that, to me, we have a part of the response of what he was saying, and he was like, what is the message? And the message is the beatbox. The message is this conversation. The message is
Right.
this. The message is that the first time I went to Cape Town is in 2010. I was in the backstage outside, and two beatboxers came at me. There was IMO and another guy, and IMO came and said, where is Mike's phone? I was shocked. You know, this is beatboxing. This is beatboxing. This is the beatboxing is the fact that, you know, we have to organize and take the power as a community in the beatbox, because mainstream media and mainstream music, sorry for the bad words, for cursing, but mainstream and media and even rap music, and they all don't give a fuck about beatboxing, and I can prove it. And we all did it by ourselves. That's why when I said, to react to what D.Cross said, when I said there was no beatboxing in the 90s, that the guys that was heavily active in the 90s all were coming from the 80s, you know, because
Right.
in the 80s, you know, Emanon, Click da Superlatin, big shout out to Click da Superlatin. He came to France with Air Force Crew. He did a show.
He's actually here right now in the chat, by the way.
He's in the chat. He's watching.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Click da Superlatin. Legends. I wish Dougie Fresh can come. Legends. All these guys. DOA. Shout out to DOA. Shout out to Scratch.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that is what I meant when I said there was beatbox had to breathe back, because all these legends were making it happen, you know. But
Right.
in hip hop in the 90s, even more than now, they didn't give a fuck at all about beatbox. And in Paris, you can talk with the old guys in Paris, the old school guys. They know maybe 3 names of beatboxing, because they were the only 3 names in Paris, and they were all around. And the guys that came back in France to do it heavy was like Science, Super Crew, Sly Johnson, like the Mike Buddha, Eclipse. There was these guys. They came just before Razzle came and blew up. So it gave another, you know, it gave another impulse, because when you hear, for example, today, I can, and it will D.Cross will really be interested in what I say, because his scratch skills are crazy, and not a lot of beatboxers are vocal scratching now. I'm one of these guys still doing it, but at the time when Sly came, he's actually one of the biggest names of the vocal scratch with scratch, and this is the 2 biggest names for me. And Sly is heavily influenced by scratch, because Iladelph Life of the Roots came out in '94 in France. We know it. This is our word in France, in Paris. Hip hop is our word. We were following it from close, you know. This was our actual music. This is another topic, but this is maybe why old heads, I can't say old heads, but middle school, as we really are, the real middle school is my generation. You know, when people say I'm old school, I'm not. I'm middle school. Old school are the legends. You know, Doug, Buffy, Scratch, Greg Nice, guys like that. You know, they click, DOA, all these guys, Emanon, they were here before that. Kenny Mohammed, of course. Kenny Mohammed changed the game. You know, all these guys come from the 80s, and it was born in the States. They brought it, they carried the flame to Europe, and they actually make it blow up, totally blow up in the 2000. And we can. I don't want to be totally because internet played a big role and played a big part into spreading it. The first biggest international event was, and shout out to the UK beatbox community, because this is another big hub and another big hub for the beatbox in Europe. Another big hub for beatbox in Europe, because Killa was killing it. Like, maybe he really came hard. Killa is in the Rocksteady crew, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, he was already there. Beatbox has always been there in Europe, since especially in France, but UK underground culture, they've always been there, and he's one of the legends, true legend, Killa. And all these guys, they played a tremendous role into development of beatboxing in the world. And when it came to here, we were all amazed. But one thing was, we had to meet to improve at the time. There was no internet. I remember you see this video of Kenny Mohammed at Columbia University. You see this video, it's legendary video.
Yeah.
This video, I used to go in a cyber cafe with the guys on my hood. We used to go there, and to download the video, it was 56K, and we had to wait for 30 minutes. I went to go eat a sandwich, go back, tell the guy at the cyber cafe, yo, nobody goes on this seat, I pay. Nobody goes on this seat. I go to eat and I come back, and I was watching the video 1,000 times with the guys on my hood. What are you doing? Go out. No, go out for me. I stay there and I watched the video. And that was how I discovered this video of Kenny Mohammed, you know? And I was hearing the wind technique, because I heard it on the hidden track of the 4 Elements of the Razel. You know, this thing has always been there in France. And when it came, we just had to meet beatboxers. So I was in my area the only guy to beatbox. And at school, when I was 16, I used to rap and beatbox at the back of school. Don't do this at school. But I used to do this, and I used to get fired every time, because I was already beatboxing. You know, it wasn't me. And after that, I just had to meet people to realize. When I went to university, I met Mike Spohn. And I realized there was another guy who knew Razel by heart, like me. And that was crazy. And then we started work, and then it came. Then we met other beatboxers, and then the rest is now. And the first international event was the International Beatbox Convention in London, organized by the UK Beatbox fam. Shout out to A+, shout out to Flat Tight, shout out to people like that, Shlomo, and guys who were organizing it at the time. That was a dope event, and that is where I met Kid Lucky. Big shout out to Kid Lucky. Big shout out to Kid Lucky. This guy is the man. Shout out, bro. Shout out to Kid Lucky. This is where I met Alien D. This is where I met all the Bilo. This is where I met Mr. Lips. Then we later did Under Control. This event is truly really important. And the next one, I wasn't there, sadly, but I think it was in New York in 2004. And this one too, I think Kenny Mohammed came, did a showcase. This started with the internet community. So internet played a big role into development of beatboxing, because back then you had to meet people. So a lot of people had their own style. That was the difference with now. Because you had to meet people. So you were developing your techniques on your way, on your side. And as soon as you were meeting someone else beatboxing, you were like, no way. So you started to make crazy. I remember with Mike Spohn, we could call each other at night. I found the click roll. Yo, sick. I wish Dougie Fresh can hear what I say now, but I don't know if it will come. But this is a bit like how things came to here in Europe and how it happened from our view, you know. But all these guys come from the 80s, and they're here for long. They've been doing what a work they've been doing. Like Razel, Doug, Buffy, Biz, Greg Nice, Kenny Mohammed, Scratch. All these guys, what they did is insane. And Scratch influenced a lot Sly Johnson, who is now one of the biggest vocal scratchers So and it helped beatboxing blowing up in France. I think it helped a lot. So it's like a full cycle, you know, like breathing, you know, giving and taking and giving and taking. And I think the best clue that beatboxing is one of the most hip hop element, and maybe the most hip hop element, is that there is no money in beatbox, so big media doesn't come. And it's been years, it's been fucking years. I hear beatbox will blow up. Beatbox will blow up. I did a video 6 years ago in Swiss Beatbox. I said it will never blow up, and I think it will never blow up. Because because there is something that impeach capitalism, or I don't know, or a big organization to really set it up as they want to, and to react to what Chesney was saying before. I don't think it's impossible to do, but it's harder with beatboxing because we're really developed. If I'm lost anywhere in the world, beatbox is a fucking niche. If I'm lost anywhere in the world, I can give a phone call and I won't be sleeping in the street. That's insane. This is the force. This is the message. This is hip hop.
Something Razel just said just a while back. We have power in numbers. So
that's how we have to do. If you wait for the power to improve your situation, this will never happen. Because when you shit, the shit goes from up to down. So you get the shit. So you have to organize to clean the shit. But you can't stop the shit from coming down because you are not up. You know? This is how we do with beatboxers, you know. There's an ocean of shit, sorry for the words, but in this world, beatboxers and beatbox community really improves it in a way. It isn't the solution, you know, the world solution. We found war is over. No, it's one of the solution. Communities, strong communities, and as Chesney said, we have to mean it. And I think in beatbox we really mean it. You look at the moment, I'm speaking with you. I'm with one of the top boys of the beatbox. I'm with K.I.M, Collapse, Skuya, you know. And we've been and I'm speaking with you guys internationally. That's it. This is beatbox. Basically, this is the force is here. The force is here. So we are the Jedis.
You just said it. I don't see any borders here. Do you guys see borders? I don't see borders.
There's no borders.
There are no borders here. There's absolutely, it's just non-existent. And by the way, I do want to give you a shout out, Faya Braz, because you just mentioned how you're walking or you're going somewhere and you see a beatbox. You're like, whoa. For us, we say Esh, and the guy goes like, you just spoke my language.
That's it. This is another topic. I'm going to speak long if we talk about Esh now, so I suggest you to speak to someone else for a moment, because I spoke really, really much.
No, man, Esh, and yes, man, that changed my life because I went to Taiwan for Asia Beatbox Championship 19. I see
Asia
behind you. Asia. So I was in an elevator and I didn't speak Chinese, Japanese, and Indonesian. All I said was Esh, and everyone was saying Esh, and that's it. Boom.
Yeah, anyways, that's crazy.
I want to go straight to IMO right now, and as I mentioned just a while back, no borders, absolutely no borders. So, as deep as the the depth we found in what Faya Braz said, and Chesney as well, and so much, it's just so much to know, and so much we just got to know. The perspectives weren't just in one line; it was multiple. But they are also coming down to one. It's just what we're talking about here. So what I want to ask you, IMO, is, as he just mentioned, the middle school beatboxing, then the new school with the internet powered up and taking you somewhere. Let's forget media. Let's forget all of these things. How much of a strong hold do we have as we are right now? And how much do you think internet is playing a role, especially where you are? And like I always say, we say this in Bangladesh, we always respect the ones who started whatever they started, not just beatboxing, in the music that we do in our country as well. We respect the ones who wrote it. We respect the one who composed it. So how much do they know, and how much is it spreading, and how is the vibe?
To be honest, I started beatboxing in 2007, and I heard it in Belgium when I was in Europe. And when I came back, there wasn't many beatboxers. A friend of mine was a beatboxer, but he was into the old school boom bap style. And what I had heard in Europe at the time was like your house, very much house influenced, which Belgium still is today. And when I came back, shout out to Tite for the humanbeatbox.com forum back in '07, because I had found the forum and left a message saying that I'm this beatboxer from Cape Town, stuck on the boom bap style and would like to progress. And within a day or so, I checked back and Andreas Peponi had replied, wanting to make contact and mentor me. And this was before Swiss Beatbox had started. Just before Swiss Beatbox. I think Swiss Beatbox started around the end of '08 to the 2009 maybe. And Peponi and I had met in '07 online, and we had kept in touch via MSN, video cam chat. So for me, I would consider Faya Braz to be an OG, and then D.Cross, Dougie Fresh, Rizal, all of them are then they are the legends in the beatbox. So for me, like, Faya Braz still falls within the OG category because there was no internet. Internet was, like you said, 56K a line. That's dial-up.
Yeah.
That's when you walk into a coffee shop and you switch a PC on and you hear the phone ring before it connected. So for me, I would say I'm a part of that internet movement where Swiss Beatbox had started up. I was a personal friend and personally got mentored by Peponi to become a better beatboxer. And obviously through the exposure of, at that time it wasn't Swiss Beatbox. Swiss Beatbox was a personal account by Peponi, and he was just running around with his video camera uploading videos. And then eventually it had taken this formation or what we have come to know now as Swiss Beatbox.
You are the man, IMO.
So
you know why I say that.
Why you say that, my man?
To react exactly to what you say. It was a personal account at the time, and the only person that has a concert of Under Control in Cape Town is Peponi, because you sent him at the moment where it was a personal account. Shout out to Peponi.
Shout out to Peponi, and that
So
for me
much
is the
happening.
thing. So
Yeah.
when you speak of the internet, I think hands down Swiss Beatbox is beatbox with internet. Like that would be your new school, middle school, influence and inspiration. I think that's where beatboxing itself took off internationally. Swiss Beatbox. Without a doubt, I know a lot of the European beatboxers within '07, '08, '09, just purely based on what Peponi was doing. At the time, Dash Holland was also running around with a video camera. I'm not sure, maybe Faya Braz can back me up on that one. Dash Holland was doing uploads on YouTube back then.
There was a bit of many guys who were doing this, but Peponi had a lot of good content.
Yeah, and that
he really was he's really a passion guy.
Yeah,
and he really loved to grab many. He really had a huge many people in him. And is awesome.
For me, I personally think that my relationship with the international scene would mostly be with Europe. As much as I would like to say America had influenced me based on history, Europe had a bigger impact on me because that was the innovation, That was where boom bap became what you heard on the radio. EDM, house, drum and bass. The UK was doing drum and bass. Belgium, like I said, was doing house. France was into your technicality that eventually became musicality. So for me, sitting in Cape Town, being exposed to the internet and being fortunate enough to have been friends with Peponi before Source Beatbox, and seeing that growth. I mean, I saw videos of Alem, a little kid with a ponytail, beatboxing at 12 years or 13 years old. I don't know if it was If Your Mother Only Knew or Snoop Dogg, but my relationship started with Alem when he was 12, 13 years old because of people like Peponi that went around, put in the effort and the time. And through doing those kinds of things, I think not only did the scene, the European scene blow up because of that, but also everybody's understanding of beatboxing then changed. It developed at different stages. So like the six of us are sitting talking on a panel of beatbox history. We've gone as far back as before I was born, you know? And for a lot of the new school beatboxers, I think a lot of them find that Donnie, you know, Reaps One, those are the guys that for them are like your legends or your
Right.
OGs. And for me, it's like Chesney said, it's for us to take it back. The beatboxing, we still have that chance to keep it pure in the sense of providing proper resources or the correct information or history based on what happened in Europe, what happened in America, what happened in this. And it's not about who came first and who done what first. It's just giving credit and respect to the people who chronologically done due to what we know as beatbox today. So if I look at it, for me, I am of the new school, old school generation, just purely based on the fact that internet is what exposed me to beatboxing more, and what I became a better beatboxer because of the internet, basically, because of seeing videos, stealing with the ear, kind of understanding. And just to touch on something that Chesney had brought up about the hip hop scene, I myself was very much into b-boying on high school in the late 90s thing, and beatboxing was something always that interested me, but never took off for me personally because there was no one else into it. And the one thing that I grew up understanding about the hip hop elements was beatboxing is the only thing that doesn't require aggression in order to flip on your head or to drop a vicious bar. You know, it's the only thing that comes from a positive energy. There's no negative energy that is ever like forced upon a beatboxer. You know, you can't beatbox when you're angry. It's virtually impossible. Hey, Dougie.
And we have Dougie Fresh in the house.
Wow.
Ash?
Wow.
All right,
Ash?
super stoked.
Master Ash.
Well,
Hey, what's up?
I must say that this was definitely a very interesting journey to get on this this international connection. But nevertheless, as in everything, you know, it's the positive attitude, like the brother was saying with the beatbox. It's the positive attitude that reigns supreme. So I was able to join y'all at least for whatever the amount of time is. I don't know how much I missed, but I definitely felt good listening to what the brother was just saying just a second ago. So it's nice to be here, man. It's nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. It's just absolutely amazing. We're super thrilled.
Wow.
Super thrilled.
Yeah.
I feel shocked right now.
Well,
Totally,
I'm
man.
shocked right now.
You are
It's
amazing.
overwhelming.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that I'm even here myself, you know?
I'm shocked. You don't even know what you did. You don't even know how many lives you changed. You don't even know that.
Wow.
I'll carry on that. You started a tsunami. What did you do?
Chesney was talking about it just before, because beatbox changed lives.
Right.
But you can't imagine how much you, Razel, Kenny Mohammed, Scratch, all these guys changed lives. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. I remember listening to you in bootleg cassettes in high school, trying to reproduce the click roll. And when I found it, I called a friend in the night because I found the click roll. That was sick. Thank you very much. Thank you
No,
very much.
man.
So much.
I really appreciate that. And let me tell you, anything that was created, it's funny, man. It's funny about creating something. I have been really, really examining my relationship with the beatbox, and I want to share some stuff with y'all that you might not really know, but I think it's good just to have this information because I think it's going to come in handy down the road. One of the things that that I would say is that, I always say necessity is the mother of invention. You see, because I don't know if everybody understands the true meaning and the true depth of what hip hop really represents. Can y'all hear me good? Because I want to make sure
Totally.
you can hear me.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
You're
Okay,
on.
thank you. Yeah, going beyond just the beatbox, the history of hip in the way that I learned it, in the culture that I learned it, and I'm so thankful to have been a part of that first generation. And I always say that I'm the child of that first generation because in that first generation, there was a line of people who came before me, but I was privileged enough to learn, from them, like DJ Hollywood. I learned from him, and what I learned from him is the mastery of crowd participation. And then from his offspring came Lovebug Starsky, and Lovebug Starsky also learned from Grandmaster Flash, and he also brought that to the table. But Hollywood was the first true MC, who was a guy who was the master of ceremony, and he was rhyming off of a record called Ain't No Stopping Us Now, and he did something off of Love Is the Message as well, right? Now, hold that thought for a second, and then you move into the other MCs that became great: the Melly Mel's, the Grandmaster Kaz's, the Kumo D's, the Special K's, and a lot of different artists that came before that. Now, I came up amongst them, and I was an MC first. Like, I was practicing skills as an MC, and I can rhyme very, very, very well because that was the way we grew up. You had to learn how to rhyme. And then, and some people that was DJ, and they had to learn how to DJ. So my DJ Barry B, Chill Will, all of them are offsprings of Grandmaster Flash, Grandmaster Flowers, Theodore, Master Don. I don't know if all of these names are familiar to y'all, but
Yeah,
they
They are.
are extremely important to this thing. Now, when we study the history of something, you have to go to the origin of it, because if you don't, you can't really know why it was created or what it was created for. Now,
totally.
and when you read history books, there's always this part of the history that is always tainted, destroyed, or somebody has tampered with the history and turned it into something that it never was, because they're trying to gain something from it. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to redefine history. And some of them are doing it because of ego. Some of them are doing it because of insecurities and low self-esteem. Some of them are doing it because if they let people know the truth about where something originated, it would destroy the illusion that they built up in what they created. You understand? So sometimes when someone says the truth about something, it is not popular. The truth is not popular. Like, if you tell somebody the truth about something, people sometimes don't want to really hear the truth. They want to hear what makes them feel good. So I'm saying all that to say that hip hop was created on a base of truth. And the reason why it was created on that base of truth is because there was there was no reason to lie. And what I mean by that is that there was too much murder. There was too much gang wars. There was too much street killing and gangs of just like before the Bloods and the Crips. All of this was going on. So there had to have been an alternative. See, and in that alternative, I feel that something was created, like the DJ, the MC, the break dancer, the graffiti artist. These were all forms of expression of letting yourself out. And what was the most fascinating is that when I was in school, I was playing the trumpet, and I never thought in my wildest imagination that if they took this trumpet away from me, what else would I do? See what I'm saying? And that's the same basis of hip hop, because they took away a lot of the jobs. The kids wasn't able to do nothing. There was a lot of gang banging going on. I mean, I was around. My brother and sister was in gangs, so I seen it all. So hip hop was the alternative to something being taken from you. So the beatbox was me playing this trumpet, and the trumpet was gone. The music programs was cut. Everybody changed everything. And so I just kept on doing what I was doing, like every other kid. And when I say this, I say it from a position of humility, of just saying that it was just an idea, and it was supported by someone else who seen me do it, liked it, told me about it, and said, yo, you should do that, and you should call it the Human Beatbox. Why? Because Grandmaster Flash used to play the beatbox.
Yeah.
And since he played the beatbox, we coined the name Human Beatbox. Like, it never existed until I did it. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't even create the name, just to show you how I'm keeping it 100%. My DJ Barry B, he said, yo, you should call that the Human Beatbox. I said, man, you crazy. I'm not doing that. You're ridiculous. Why would I call it that? And he said, I'm telling you, you should do it. I went outside at a thing that we used to do, because we used to do illegal parties, and they're called jams. It's not a block party. A block party, you had a license for a while to have the music on from this time till that time. A jam is completely different. A jam is illegal. A jam was, we're plugging the light plug into the light pole. We're hooking up equipment. Two guys is coming out and they're battling. Or they're one guy playing music. And when they was playing the music, it was only because instead of having a gang fight, instead of us killing each other, we said, let's battle on the DJ. And then came the MC, and the MC started battling. So what I'm saying to you is that it is so important. I mean, more important than you can possibly imagine. And I don't even mean this from an ego thing or whatever. It's important for you to get the true story and the true history of something, because without it, I always say a man without history is like a tree without roots. It's impossible for a tree to exist. It's like saying when your mother and your father told you stories about what your grandmother and grandfather went through and what they went through. And even if you go in from a DNA perspective or a bloodline, if one person in your family got diabetes and then the next person got it and the next person got it, if you know it, you could do something about it, because now you know that this it's hereditary. So if you're able to change something, you can change the course of your whole family's existence. So how important is that information? It's extremely important. How important is history? It is very important, because without that history, you have no foundation to stand on, and you really have you don't even know how you exist. You don't even know why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? So when you look at guys like Rozelle, when you look at Kenny Muhammad, when you look at Biz, when you look at other people who I've shown little, like Rich, DJ Rich, who was down with Captain Rock or Eminard, or all of the different beatboxers that came and went, from Ready Rock to all of the different people, to the Fat Boys and all of them. Most people know the true story, and they know the history, and they know what this is about. But once again, a lot of people don't want to give the true story because they feel like they're going to lose something. and you're not losing anything. You know what I'm saying? Look, just because you're the first at doing something, it don't mean that somebody else can't come out and be better, right? Just because you're the first, it's like Jordan. Jordan is an offspring of Dr. J. Dr. J is an offspring of Connie Hawkins.
Hawkins.
You understand? But you won't give the respect to Connie Hawkins, or you might give some of the respect to Dr. J, and then you'll go on and then you'll say Michael Jordan, and then the next generation will say Kobe, and then the next generation will say LeBron. You understand? So it's the same principle, but it is extremely important to know where something came from. And if it's not you, it's okay that it's not you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be everything and get every award for everything in the world. Like, find your space, make your contribution so that the whole thing could exist. And that's why I said that I would join on this, because I'm not upset. There's no bitterness. I don't feel any animosity towards any other beatbox or anybody that's creating and expanding the culture. That is what it was created for. It was created to share it, and for the whole world to embrace it, because it gave guys like us an alternative. Some of us are so serious with the beatbox. I'm talking about, I mean, hey, he was warming up, and I was like, and I heard him do Frisco Disco. I said, damn, that sounds good. You understand what I'm saying? Like, instead of us being negative and, oh man, he's okay. Yeah, he's all right, but his bass, his foot sound a little soft, but his bass is this and this and that. Like, man, stop hating on cats, man. Just embrace other people. This one here is, you know, he's at this level, he's at that level. That's not what this was created for, man. This was created for us to embrace each other. And he's right. Beatboxing is the only thing, and I'll sum it up and pass it off to you from here. But beatbox is the only thing, the only element of all the 5 elements, right? There's 2 things. Number one, most people can't tell you the origin of each element. And most of the originators of the element may not be alive. And if they are alive, there's still controversy on people wondering, are they the creator of that element? Me being alive and being in the position that I'm in, like documented stuff. I got a flyer, which maybe I'll show y'all, or I'll send it to one of y'all one day. It's a flyer. My flyer says 1982. If you can show me a flyer that go back further than that, then I humbly submit. But I know from my own existence that the name never was on a flyer until we put it on a flyer. And it only got on a flyer because that's what we was doing. And then Beat Street came out in 83, right? It was made in 83. It came out in 84. It took 1 year for the movie to come out. So between 83 and 82 and 81, I was still in school. I was walking home and they took the trumpet from me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that's an important element to know. And I think it's also important for people to know that out of all the 5 elements, it's the one that has, like, it's all pure energy. It's not word. It's not a physical action. It's not like a dancing movement. It is just pure, uncut, high frequency spirit channeling through your body the same way you would hear a saxophone player play, or a trumpet player play, or somebody playing a tuba or anything. But the difference in all of them is you're not using no instrument. You are only using you. Ain't that deep? That's deep. That now you're making sounds and melodies and beats, and you're doing 3, 4, 5, 6 different things at the same time. And the energy is channeling through you as if like it was a bunch of people collectively working together through you. And it's the only element that does that. No other element does that. No other instrument does that. If you play the harmonica, I play the harmonica, and as you play it, you're blowing through it. But now I'm playing with the notes. If I remove the harmonica, it's like I'm not using an instrument. I'm just using me. You understand? Like it's the closest that you can get to the human spirit, to the spirit of the person. And that's why he said, you don't ever hear nobody beatboxing mad. But the channel of the energy and the way that you're channeling it, it is vibrating at a frequency that's causing the body and the spirit to react. You see what I'm saying? Like people are jumping up and reacting to things as if like you used words. It is the universal language. Its sound is the universal language. So beyond whether this one speaks French, German, Italian, Russian, English, no matter what you speak, one language that we all understand, the frequency of the spirit and sound. And that is what the beatbox have. That's why it's the fifth element, because it breaks all barriers. One day I was in Italy and I heard a German rap group doing Rapper's Delight in German in Italy. I didn't understand them, but I still felt the frequency. But you know what was consistent? The music. The music was consistent. You see what I'm saying? So now all y'all are doing is walking around and the music is in you. You don't need nothing. Give me the mic and I'll take care of the rest, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, totally.
And that is what makes the beatbox the most, let me put it in the most humbling form. It makes it the most unusual because all of them have power, but it makes it the most unusual. And the other reason why people didn't do the beatbox is because it's not easy to master. It is not an easy thing to master. It's like, like playing, doing the Rubik's Cube. Everybody can't do the Rubik's Cube. You see what I'm saying? Like the beatbox is a skill where the mastery of it takes a lot of time. It is a deeper practice to me than rhyming. Rhyming is important, like it has its lessons, but the beatbox is intricate. The hi-hat, the snare, what kind of snare? You want the snare to hit like this? You want it to hit like that? You want the bottom to be a low bottom? You want the mid? You want the high? What do you want? You want a running hi-hat? What you want? You want clicks in there? You want a cowbell? Like, it's too many different little tedious components in it for it to just be simply mastered. And then once you get it, you always find somebody who's doing something else that you ain't doing.
That's true.
Totally.
Ain't that crazy?
Totally,
That's true.
Yeah.
Out of all of y'all on here, each one of y'all do something different than the other, and y'all mastered one little piece better than the other. Like if I'm doing hi-hats, he may kill me on hi-hats. This one here might do the bottom, the bass different. KDX, he's incredible with the snares. You hear how he do his snares? It's bananas. Scratch is just like, I mean, if I blindfold you and said which one is real, you couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, everybody have their own little intricate specialty, and that's why most people cannot master the beatbox. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it's a very fascinating thing. Last thing I'll tell you, and I'll conclude with this, is that Run DMC made a record when he said, "Hit it, Run," and he was trying to do the beatbox on it. The most terrible beatboxing I've ever heard in my entire life. See, but what people don't know is when he did that, he was trying to make it seem, he was trying to take out the integrity of the beatbox to make it seem like anybody could do it. You see what I'm saying? Because he was trying to invalidate what I was doing at the time, while because me and Rick was a team like Run DMC. And this is my perception of it, because I know he know that his beatboxing was terrible. You know what I'm saying? So but the point is that, so when you look at that, and then you look at, say, when I made Freaks, you know what I mean? Or I did Lottie Dottie, or I did, Sitting in My Car, or I can go on and on, or Fat Boys, or any one of y'all guys. Like, you could tell the difference in the level of technique and skill. You know what I mean? It's a difference between blowing into a trumpet and playing the trumpet. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So this is a panel, and this is something that every kid that may not want to be a rapper knows that he could be a beatbox man. And that's the last thing. When I did the beatbox and I was creating it, I did it to support the MC as well. You see what I'm saying? Because the MC in me was like, I can't bang on a car every time I'm in the street. But if we're walking home and we both ain't got no money and we just looking to entertain ourselves and we walking in New York, I'll do the beat and you rhyme. But the problem is that after I did the beat, I would want them to do the beat so I could rhyme, and they couldn't do the beat. You know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah.
I hope some of this information is giving you some kind of real energy on it, so that you know that it
Without
that,
a doubt.
that is
Without a
you
doubt.
know that is
100%, 1,000%.
We are
don't let nobody dilute your gift, and don't let nobody make it seem like it is a novelty. See, that's the other thing that I did. When I came out, I started doing records like Sucker MCs, or I'll do other records, and I would do those records because I said if I was able to repeat those records outside of just the original beats I was creating, it could never go out of style, because as long as there's a new beat that comes out and I can do that beat, it will never die. You see the depth of it? See, it can't be a novelty if every time something come out, I could play that beat. You know what I mean? Whether it's R&B, whether it's hip hop, whether it's new wave, or any kind of track. You know what I mean? Just whatever it is, you could make it and you could play it. And now a lot of these guys that I see have taken it to a level where, when you're looking at a lot of the way that they chopping it up, it's really, really good. And it reminds me of, the what's the music that's really running the world now in a lot of ways? The with Diplo in them, the
EDM and
Trap.
EDM.
What's a trap?
trap.
Yeah, but some of them are taking more of an EDM perspective, or like the build up, and then you drop it, and then you flip it, and then you build it up, and then you drop it.
Dubstep things.
Yeah, dubstep. See, but I think that even as you're doing the dubstep, now that's beatboxers working alone. Beatboxers shouldn't only work alone. Beatboxers should be partnered up with someone else, so that they can demonstrate the collaboration, because now it's the intertwining of all the spirits together. You see what I'm saying? Because, see, that's what makes Lottie Dottie the classic that it is because I allowed Rick to breathe with his style, and I allowed him a platform to sing Lottie Dottie while I'm doing the beatboxing, dropping it out, changing the beat up, and doing all of these simple things. But if he said Lottie Dottie off of a drum machine, it would not have been the same impact. You see what I'm saying? So all the beatboxers, if you know somebody that you feel that spiritual connection with, see, the beatbox and the MC are spiritually connected, especially when there's humility in it. And when you're more concerned with making sure that the person is shining, and they're making sure that you shine, like when he say at the end of it, say, to the tick-tock, you don't stop, to the tick-tick and you don't quit, hit it. Like, in other words, Doug, do your thing, or then I'm setting it up in the beginning. boom, bat, 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 booga, booga, boom. Like, so I'm giving him space so that he could shine, and I'm shining, and I'm okay with being the supporter. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
See, this is the part I want y'all to get, and this is so important you get it, that whether you are Jordan or Scottie Pippen, you just want the ring. Do you understand? You can't get the ring trying to be Jordan, Scottie Pippen, every goddamn body on the team. No. Sometimes a great player knows how to humbly say, okay, you can shoot real good. So let me pass you the ball, and you can't pass as good as me. So I'm going to pass you this ball, and I'm going to let you make the shot. Now, it don't mean that you can't shoot too. But right now, in order for us to win this game, I'm going to play the position of assisting you, and I'm going to let you take the shot. And that is what the beatbox is. See, the beatbox is the person that teaches, and only a humble beatbox can do that. He has to step back and say, I'm going to let that guy shine. And while he rhyming, you drop it out. Then you highlight his rhyme. You highlighting it. You pull it back. You see what I'm saying? Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that, bro. I'm telling you something. It's real. It's damn near like, it's equivalent to a DJ. It's equivalent to a DJ. You know, where you're actually DJing for him. You know what I'm saying? Look, you're actually DJing for him. You're actually being a band for him. And you're actually doing background vocals for him. God damn.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
for real.
Right?
For real.
Ain't it
real,
heavy?
totally.
It's
Yeah.
For
real
real.
heavy, right? See, and I
Yeah.
know y'all know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Definitely.
It's
It
crazy.
makes sense. It's super interesting because this point of view really gathers a lot of things are already thought about, but said in this way, it really makes me think that beatboxers and beatbox community is on the good way. That's what I mean.
It is.
Because
Faya
you
Braz,
said, yeah, I really
it's
can
like
relate. I really
it's
can
like
relate.
jigsaw pieces. Yeah.
I really can relate to what Doug says is that collabs are everything. Sharing is everything.
Yeah.
And that's why
Each-
beatbox is like that today. You
Yo,
said it.
Get-
We can quote our originators
yeah.
because we did this job, and beatboxers
Right.
did it because this discipline and this art is made to be shared
Good.
Right.
Can
and
I jump
received
in?
as such.
So-
And
so-
put on
the same as
the jigsaw pieces everywhere, you know, that shapes up to the image that we're looking at. That's beatboxing.
Right.
And as Dougie Fresh just mentioned just a while back about roots, if we do not actually know where we're from, where are we going? It doesn't work that way. It just does not work at all.
yeah.
Could I jump in?
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
Sorry about that. Dougie, just to say something. Like first and foremost, it's an honor for me to actually even be sitting on the discussion panel with someone like you. And by saying someone like you is that if we had to look at beatboxing being a story, being a book, you are the person who named the book. You are the author who gave the book its name, and you just
Yeah.
left the book open for the rest of the world to write its own stories. And for me, I can't say I can't speak for anyone else, but from my perception of the human psyche, we are inspired by what we see, what we do as creative, as in the sense of being creatives. It's inspired by what we see and what we hear. Now, for example, Faya Braz says the click roll was something he heard you do. He
Right.
heard you do and called his friend the night he figured out how to do it. Now, I mean, that was 40 years ago. If you're talking of 1982, 2 years from now is 40 years back that we're talking about you doing the click roll.
It's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
If you,
It's totally crazy.
if
My
if
God.
I could ask you this, Taggy, 40 years later, if you had to go back and someone told you 40 years ago that the click roll is something that would have been studied and mastered by so many, but innovated to such an extent that you've got EDM, trance music, all these
Dubstep,
different
and
genres.
so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
dubstep, all coming
Yeah.
from a click roll, coming from a kick that you had done. For example, the inward drag that Reeps does. For me, that's more like what Bismarcky and Dougie and them done in the 80s.
Of course.
Right.
You know, I still can't
Right.
do it in the sense of a beatboxing in a rhythm or flow, but let me do an inward drag and I can.
Right.
So
Right.
for me,
Yeah. Right.
what
Yeah.
yeah, so for me, whatever was done between you, the OGs, Rizal, Kenny Mohammed, I would say was like of the legendaries who became more of a technical beatboxer that influenced the technicalities
Right.
of clarity, pushing harder, getting your sounds more tighter and interwoven.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the technicalities, I would say, was Kenny Mohammed. But you guys were, I would say, the originators where every sound started from and then progressed and evolved from there.
Wow. And you know what you're
And
saying? What you're saying makes so much sense. And what you're saying is so real because it's the same way that it was with MCs. See, when you listen to certain MCs, they got their style from Grandmaster Caz, but they don't know it. And then you hear certain MCs, they got their style from Kumo D, but they don't know it. Some people got their style from Melly Mel, but they don't know it. See, what happens is that as things evolve, it becomes something different, and then you forget what was the thing that created that effect. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so it's fascinating because as I was saying to you too, I was torn between rhyming and doing the beatbox, but I knew at the time that I had to dedicate a lot of time to the beatbox because it was so new, it was so unusual, and it was so special that I felt that I had to take the time out to master it as much as I can possibly master it, because mastery is an ongoing life experience. It's not something that just happens instantly. And just because you created something, it doesn't mean that there's not more to create on it. So
yeah,
as I was creating it, I was torn between, all right, I want to rhyme on this record. I want to do the beatbox on this record. How do I balance this out? How do you balance out if you're let's say you're a singer and then you play the guitar? You got to put the guitar in the record, but at the same time, you don't want people to just think that you're a guitar player because you sing really well. Like I toured with Prince actually from '99 to
Whoa.
2015 to the 2 months before he passed away. And
wow,
one of the things that was interesting that me and him had this relationship that was just very, very unusual relationship, that he always appreciated that when I was performing with him, I had so many different levels that I could take it to because I approach things from an entertainer's perspective. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, the beatbox was something that, it was blowing his mind, and he was like, he was just shocked at how crazy it was. But it was equivalent to him playing his guitar. You know what I mean? Like if he had to take one instrument with him when it was time for him to go someplace, he would take that guitar. You see what I'm saying? Because that's his go-to instrument. The beatbox became something where I was always trying to balance it with how far can I take this and still do what I'm doing. Because if you look at this, even if you look at Fat Boys, Buffy was a beatbox full time. That's what he did. He never rhymed. You see what I'm saying? And then with Biz was up under me, and he was trying to learn how to do the beatbox because he seen me do it at a show that we had in Long Island. I still got that flyer too. And pretty much when he seen it, he was moved by it, and he started to be around me and be around my DJs, and he started to gain a lot of the flavor, but he started to create his own style in the way that he does it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and that's what everybody did. Everybody said, okay, this is Doug, but I'm gonna do mine like this. And this is so and so, and I'm gonna do mine like this. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
All it is an idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. It's just an idea, and you got to give me your version of an idea. And when you give me your version, it expands the idea.
Oh,
Right.
no.
And based on what IMO said just a while back, and I'm also picking up on what you said, Dougie, is that you write the book, right? We study it, right? And the next person finds another theory and then goes back to the book and understands, all right, you know what? Let's elaborate it. Let's go into a different one. And then it goes on and on. But the one who's reading the 10th or the 20th edition of the book probably does not know the first book that started it all. You know,
Right.
that's when we should go back to the history and check it out. And someone wrote, and it was amazing what he wrote, Khalil with the hyphen, you gave us the sound to be able to speak. So mad respect from Beatbox Bangladesh. We love what you did. And to be honest, one thing that, like I said, IMO mentioned, and you keep going back to the roots. I believe no matter where you are, no matter what you do, you always, just even for one moment, go back and see where it started from. You probably don't know what you're missing because, as you mentioned, all of us have our different sounds. That will make you even a better person because you need to know where it all began. And it is that important.
Could I add in just one last thing from my point?
Yes, please.
We currently just talking of beatboxers. Dougie mentioned the late great Prince. Just a shout out to the late great Michael Jackson, because if it wasn't for him as well, a lot of people wouldn't be beatboxing. And seeing that Dougie just mentioned
Exactly.
your imagination
Massive respect.
and creativity, that was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Bad, all those things were
Oh my
beatboxed
God.
before they were put onto any form of electronic, digitized drum set, whatever. It was beatboxed. You can
Right.
find it on YouTube, these
I
compilations.
couldn't tell my friends
That's
about
right.
it. I would tell
That
them
is
that's
right. That is
beatboxing. They're like, what is
correct.
beatboxing?
That is
I was
correct. And
blown
he
away.
was good.
Yeah.
And he was good.
He
And
He
was.
was
good at
he
it.
was
And he was
awesome.
good at it. He was good at it. And the other thing, I knew Michael Jackson. I knew Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson came to Harlem and hung out with me. And when he came to Harlem and we got some time to spend together, you know, it was really interesting because I didn't even know he knew me like that. But he knew me and he was excited and he was happy. And, you know, and he would ask me, you know, what made me think of some of the things or how did I create some of the things I created, you know, and then his sister Janet, because I just did her party. I did her party before the whole coronavirus thing. I did her party not too long ago. And when I did it, you know, she was asking me like, yo, do you understand how we used to study you and how this and this and that? But see, sometimes you don't even know what people are doing. You know, the night before Prince passed away, he sent CD that he had that dance for him. He sent her an email telling her she needs to study me. And he said, you need to go online and look at him. And then she sent me the email that he sent to her, and it was the day before he passed away. See, so sometimes you'll be shocked, man, at how certain people are looking at certain things that all of y'all are doing. You see, because I keep telling people, just because you are somebody that created something, it does not mean that the creation cannot expand. It doesn't mean that somebody or other people can't grab the expand on it. Look at Michael Winslow, at the rock guitar sounds that he make with the damn mic and the way that he stretches the sound. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like you can't take nothing from him. And before this whole coronavirus, we were going to do an event together because me and him never really met up. I mean, we might have met up I think we met up a long time ago, but we never really got down or whatever. But then me and Bobby McFerrin and the way that he plays and the way he taps his chest and the way he basically plays while he's doing it. You see what I'm saying? So everybody got a unique style, man. Everybody. What about Lady Smith Black Mambazo from out of Africa? You know, if we're gonna go all the way, let's go all the way. So,
Yeah.
and then there's a tribe. There's a tribe that Makiba, Miriam Makiba came from, and there was the Click tribe, and they talk like that. Everything got a little sound to it. So I said, maybe I'm from the tribe because I'm just so simple with the, you know.
Yo, Al Jarreau, dog.
Al Jarreau, I was
Al
with him
Jarreau.
too. I was with him too. You remember, Al Jarreau was one of the first to jump that whole thing off. And then there's somebody before. See, so all of this is just a continuation, man. And I think that each moment in time, there's somebody new that gets an opportunity to open up another gate. And, you know, and anybody that believe in the creator or whatever, or the universe, you know, I can never be thankful enough, man. And at one time, I remember one time, I used to say, man, why they not listening to my rhymes like they listening to so-and-so and this person rhyme, and why they not this and this and that? This is what I was thinking, right? And then one day I had to go to the dentist and I had to get 2 teeth taken out on this side of my mouth because I had a root canal. Teeth they didn't make it. So I had to get them taken out, and the guy stitched it up. My face swelled up like this because it got infected, right? My face was like this. So then I had 5 shows. I couldn't do the shows, and then my face went down, but I was trying to do the beatbox and I couldn't because it's like I couldn't really, y'all know what it's like when you're trying to do the beatbox after something hurt. So I'm up here trying to do it, right? And I'm on the stage and I'm like this. I said, I don't want to lip sync, you know what I mean? Like play the record and do it. But the audience was waiting for me to do the beatbox. And I remember I had to go through all of these different shows and I really couldn't do the beatbox. And every time I did it, it hurt. And I said, you know what? I was sitting there going, man, because I couldn't click no more. And I said, man, I said, God, if you just give me back them damn clicks, I said, I will never, ever, ever say that I want people. I said, I don't give a goddamn rhymes. I don't care about the rhymes. I said, just please, just give me those clicks back one time. Yo, the next day, right? And it's a true story. The next day in the middle of it, it was a show late at night. And I started, you know, I was like, damn, I hope I can do it tonight, you know? And I got on and they came out, like a couple of them came out. Man, I felt like Superman who was mad, you know, like you know, if he couldn't fly no more, he'd be stretched out, you know what I'm saying? And it really made me say this to myself. Be thankful for what you have, because what you think you don't have is more than what you have. You see what I'm saying? Like, you should be so thankful to be having this gift that you got right now. Meanwhile, you're not thankful. You're looking at it like, I want to throw that away and I want that over there because everybody got that. No, it was designed for me. I'm the only MC that does all of these different things the way that I do them, and the multiple pieces that I come to the table with. I'm the only person with all of these different things. And I'm the only guy that I know that's the beginning of my style that I know for sure I'm the beginning. You know what I mean? So here I was being ungrateful. And now, after I almost lost it, I became grateful. So that's why I'm telling you, sometimes the things that you have or the things that you may believe that you don't have, don't be concentrating on what you don't have. Be thankful for what you have, because what you have is what makes you who you are.
Totally.
Pretty hell of a lesson for me.
Totally. Mad respect. My God.
Hell of a lesson.
Yeah. I think we're literally having our minds blown, and it's surreal that this is happening. It's like, Faya Braz, what do you think?
I am mind blown. Yeah, That's
My
really one
God.
of the best conversation I had online lately. Really.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
this is
Apart the fact that Dougie Fresh, you are Dougie Fresh. I mean, it's also you have to really be careful and take what he says as something really important, because he's also the beatboxer and he's still there. And longevity is something. You know, fame is nothing. Longevity is, we are talking about the K.I.M 40 years ago. He's still there, and talking, this is what we have to focus on. I think this discussion is truly interesting on another level.
And beatboxers got to take care of themselves. They got to take care of their health.
they do.
Like you're not going to be able to have longevity if you don't take care of yourself. Beatboxers have to eat right. They can't be smoking crazy, and if you do, it's going to take away your win. I know you don't. I know some people don't believe me, but yes, it does. If you could do a drum roll and hold it and do all these different things, and you could do that now if you smoke, if you wasn't smoking, you'll probably be able to double time it or triple time it. To be quite honest with you, you could feel the pull. You could feel the pull if you go into a room and you beatboxing and the whole room is filled with smoke. You could feel like, damn, because you're using your nose, you're using your throat, you're using your mouth, you're using all these different things, and they all actually, like, you got bass sounds coming out of here, you got low tones coming from here, you're doing all of these things over in here. If you're really doing it, come on, man. How you gonna be able to? How can you beatboxing? To me, takes more wind power and more energy than rhyming. Like you're pushing from your diaphragm all the way up, and you're constantly, and it's a constant. It's not like a break. And if you're doing something for somebody that's going like this, doom, da doom, da doom, da doom, 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 and you keeping that same thing going, and then a beatbox is listening to the sound different. A beatboxer's ear is tuned different than a normal rapper, because the beatboxer's ear is hearing the hi-hat, he's hearing the foot, he's hearing the snare, he's hearing the bass line, he's hearing every little intricate thing. When you listen to a song, when you listen to another beatbox, you listen to all of the little intricacies that they got going on in between. So when you're doing that and you're repeating it, there's a lot of little intricate things that are going on that's very difficult. So if you're not in shape, if you don't keep yourself in some form of good health, you ain't gonna be beatboxing too well, because your stamina is gonna be weak. You know, a beatboxer is like an opera singer. You know what I'm saying? I remember Luther Vandross used to go into hotels, and when he would go into a hotel, he would have them cover up all of the air condition vents, because if the air condition was on too much, his throat would dry out, and when he get on stage, he couldn't even sing like he would. So he used to go around to all the hotels when he taught, and they would cover, and they would know when he's coming in there to cover up the damn air condition vents. So beatboxers don't. I'm telling you, the depth of this thing, it's deep. It's deep, like deep to the point that you got to make sure your heart is good. You know, some of the low end that you're pushing from, you know what I mean? You could hurt yourself, bro. You could hurt yourself. I'm telling you. I know it sounds crazy, maybe. I don't
No,
know if it sounds.
no, you're definitely on point. You're definitely on point, and that's what we built our community on in Bangladesh. What we say is health is wealth, something D.Cross just mentioned in the comments as well. And we completely agree on this. And as you mentioned, if I can carry on the kick for this long, or a sound for a certain amount of time, your lungs, you're not giving it enough respect and the care that it needs, and so on and so forth. So everything needs to, all the intricate details need to be looked into. But of course, coming from you, everyone should understand this is how it should be. And yeah, we have our own takes, we have our own outputs, but yes, you have to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and of course spiritually, all the way.
And now there's a new thing that I would add to what we're doing now that I think is important that we need to look at, is that because beatboxers is coming around, and now this whole thing, I think when things open back up, because I don't know how coronavirus is affecting where you're at, but in America it's
quite tough.
unbelievable. You know what
It's
I mean?
extremely tough here.
Right. So I think singers are gonna have to carry their own microphones. Beatboxers are gonna have to carry their own microphones, because you can't continue to do that. And then also, normally we don't care because it's all what it is. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like if a guy is in the gym and he's sweating on a machine, and you got to wipe it down, you got to spray it down, because this is a health scare. Like I got records out now. One is called 20 Seconds or More on YouTube about people washing their hands, because 21%, it reduces the chances of anybody catching this virus 21%. I've had people that are close to me that caught the coronavirus, and some of us didn't think it was real, but it is absolutely, positively real. So that's why if you're doing something, you have to take those necessary steps of just making sure it's healthy, it's clean. You're preventing your brother, your beatbox brother, or your artist friend, or somebody that's close to you, because you could just pass the mic and somebody is singing, and when they're singing, you know what I'm saying, it could just turn it into you catching coronavirus, and you could be asymptom and nothing, you show nothing. I just did an interview with D.L. Hughley the other day, and we were on, and he was all lively and everything, and then the next thing, he did a comedy show and he passed out on stage. And they found out that he had COVID-19. And they said that he was asymptomatic. You see what I'm saying? And then he gave it to his son. So hey, look, it's rough out here for the artists. It's rough out here for the beatboxers. And if we don't be more conscious on the health side, it's going to break us down. Even our immune system, the vitamin C, the vitamin D, being able to get your rest, eat a little bit more healthier. Nobody ain't saying you can't enjoy, but just as long as you're considering things a little bit more than just doing what you would normally do freestyle. You know what I mean? Right. I think it's important that we think like that, because I don't know how is it going on in other parts of the world, but I'm in Florida right now, and the numbers are spiking through the roof. Through the roof. I try not to even really move around too much. It's so crazy, So I'm just saying that to y'all, man, because you got to be, health is wealth, and, you get wealth from your health, man. You got to really take care of yourself. This is not just the gift. The gift has maintenance to it. It has a price, and the price is you have to take care of yourself and be a little bit more conscious of how, because if not, you can really suffer from this thing, man. I don't know if any of y'all had anybody that been affected by the virus, but I have.
I've lost 2 friends. So yeah, it's just
so you see, I'm keeping it real, right? I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
Think about it. You never thought at this point in the world, in your life, that we would be talking like this. Now, the good part is that we are talking.
Yeah.
But the bad part is that we have so many people who are family and friends and people that we care about who we lost. We lost just because of this virus. And some of us, because we didn't even think it was real. Some of us said it doesn't affect Black people, which was the craziest thing in the world. And now we could see it affects all people because we all interconnect.
Right.
This virus don't discriminate on nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think it's important for us to take care of ourselves, man, because you can't perform at your optimum level when you are healing at your optimum level.
All right. But man, we are kind of in the zone right now, to be honest. This is becoming absolutely unbelievable for all of us to even fathom how much this entire panel is going through and what we're getting to know. And of course, the world situation isn't something we even expected, to be honest. As I was telling my friend just earlier on, it's a very bad episode in a horrible season of something we're watching on TV. So just need to get this over with. But we'll be back, and hopefully we will be back doing what we love doing. And of course, the precautions that you mentioned, the mics and everything. Faya Braz, you were showing your mic. We should all have it, and we should all try to stay clean and maintain hygiene and everything. But at the same time, going back to what we were saying, roots, very important. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter whatever happens, everything, the roots, it's extremely important. And we got it straight from Dougie Fresh, and I don't think that anything is more awesome than that right now. Don't you guys agree? Everyone who's in the comment and everyone's watching all over the world. And look, everyone from different parts of the world, like I mentioned, different religions, they're all watching this, different background, different upbringing, does not matter.
Right.
We're all watching this, and we are literally connected because of this. And something that IMO mentioned a while back, you started the book, man, and you also gave respect to the people who gave you the way as well. We should always look back while we're looking in the future as well. It's something we should do. But thank you so much.
It's equivalent to not giving love and respect to your mother and father. It's like when you see people go up and make speeches about congratulating when they win an award or whatever it is that people might give them, and they stand up there and they never thank their mother and father. They never thank their grandma. They never thank their grandfather. They never thank their friend. Like when I say Barry B, there's no possible way that I would be here without Barry B. You see, right. I'm not a person that needs all of the credit. Actually, I think that we can go further if we stop fighting for credit so much. And if we just put in the work. If we put in the work and if we tell the truth, then we can go much further. But if we're up there fighting and lying and being tricky for the credit, there's people who have been taking credit for things that have been created by me and other people and so forth, that when I hear them say it, I don't even take the time out to try to expose them. And I might be wrong for that, but the reason why I don't is because sometimes I feel that instead of me wasting my time on trying to chase each person that's saying something that's not correct, why don't I continue to just do the work? I want to just do the work. That's it. I don't care. And then hopefully down the line, the truth will come out. And if it never does, guess what? Maybe it wasn't supposed to be known. And by the time it did come out, I probably wasn't around to hear it anyway. You know what I mean? So as long as the work is done, and that's the reason why I love what y'all are doing, because this is about just getting the work done. You see,
yeah,
it's just a continuation of making this thing evolve into something that none of us even thought it had the power to be. Hip hop, what it's become now, do you realize that this thing came from the street? This thing came from just dudes on the street, yo. And it's a multi-billion-dollar culture shifting. Like even when you see people marching and rioting and protesting in America, that's the hip-hop generation. That's the hip-hop generation. Like the little white kids, the black kids, it's over now because they are lined up with truth and they could see what's going on. And now that they seeing it, because the world is shut down for a minute and everybody's paying attention, they can't look into the mirror, a lot of them, and feel good about what's happening and know that they got friends like y'all on here and friends like me who's been going through this all through our journey. I've been in concerts. I've done concerts where the police was in the audience and told my crowd when they came to see me in the hip hop shows If they get up, they're arresting them. They have to stay seated. And the cops just, and it's because it was a black hip hop show. He said, if one person get up, I'm arresting that guy's on stage and I'm arrest the crowd. Can you imagine that? He said, if you get up out your seat, like once you hear the beat and you dancing, you better sit down or I'm arresting you and I'm arresting the group. I've been in situations like that. That's how far back I go with this.
That's crazy.
Think about it now. Visualize this. Do not get up out your seat. Sit there, watch it, and you can do this. Do not react. Do not get up. Yo, I've done shows where the audience, when the cop said that, and the audience turned around and was like this, and I came out, the whole audience just rushed the stage, and the cops just ran off to the side, and then they was trying to figure out how could they arrest somebody, but it was thousands in there, and they was like, yo, there was nothing we could do. Yeah. This is the beginning of hip hop. This is the part of hip hop they don't tell you about. Yo, in the beginning, people didn't even want hip hop in their buildings. They was like, get that out of here. What is that? And then when it was the beatbox, they was like, oh man, get that out of here. So all of where we are now, it was an evolution. And that's why I'm telling you that what y'all are doing, y'all are the front runners. And y'all have to continue to carry the torch. My arm can only hold it up for so long. You know what I mean? And like when you're doing a running relay, you have to take it and pass it to the next person and let them continue to run. And then we all win. So we gotta think like that. We gotta think like that. So that's why I'm sharing these things with you, because I'm not in competition with you. I'm your brother. I'm just here to help us all win. You know, when you shine, I'm shining and I feel good about it. You know, I'm never jealous. I don't have that in my DNA. I don't have jealousy, envy. I'm not hateful. I tell people, instead of being hateful, you should be grateful. Be more grateful and less hateful. You know, that's how I'm wired. So all of y'all here on this panel and all of the people that are watching, it's up to you to carry that baton and cross that finish line. And it doesn't matter, as long as a person's spirit is right, no matter what background they come from, as long as they right and as long as they want equality for each and every individual, that's my brother. But if you are a person that's not like that, you have some work to do. You have some work to do. You see what I'm saying? So that's my whole reason for getting on this panel, man. There was nothing else except just to share and to hear, you know? And I feel good about this.
We definitely, you have enlightened every single one of us without a doubt. And I'm definitely, this is not something I'm sugarcoating. It's a fact. We know it. I think we literally felt it. So yeah, it's right there. And humbleness. Everyone's been mentioning this in the comment section. I live on that. Whatever it is in my life, whatever the purpose is, humbleness. I believe. There's why be negative? Why not be grateful when you have something you need to be grateful about? But thank you, Dougie Fresh. I don't know, man. It's amazing. Just you know, the fact is, you know, as you mentioned, all of us are carrying it forward in our own ways. It's amazing. And how, and you know what, it shows those who are watching from different parts of the world, how it united us in this spot. Day, night, time zone, nothing matters. The borders, nothing matters, man. This is how unity should be. This is how understanding should be. Every single thing blowing off on the other sides of the world, we are all crying over it. We're trying to find a right way, but here it is. The solution's right here, but we just turn a blind eye. And I know it's beatboxing. Maybe 99% of the people won't get it, but it's there. We look for solutions.
It's energy.
It's there. It's energy. And someone mentioned a while back, energy exchange. Carry it forward. Let's make it through. Let's do things even better. Beatboxing, it's a language. It's love. It's unity. It's so much more. I don't think I can even describe it. But yeah.
And one thing is for sure, energy don't lie. Remember that.
Or
Totally.
Energy does not lie. You may lie, but energy does not lie. It's real serious. I mean, sit with that one for a minute. And when you say, and I don't care if it's a friend of yours, I don't care if it's your girl, I don't care if it's your family, energy does not lie. So whatever energy you push out and the sincerity of the energy, it vibrates and the frequency travels and it connects. It has no choice but to connect. It has no choice because it does not lie, and it is what it is. The only thing that lie is the person. Some people may lie and say, I didn't feel it, and they did feel it. Some people may say that they didn't feel it and they felt it to the highest level, you know. So it's just about the person, but the energy don't lie, and the intention behind the energy. See, my intention in this conversation is nothing but sincere. It's love, it's respect, and it's just to share. And whether somebody think I'm telling the truth or not is irrelevant to me. The only thing I'm doing is I'm being honest, and the energy will vibrate as I know, because there's no need for me to try to change my energy to masquerade it for something else. You know, some people do that a lot, but energy does not lie, and that's something y'all need to remember. And when you beatboxing, whatever your intention is, whatever your energy is, I'ma feel it, because we connect like that. Energy does not lie. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Watch.
we we
It,
totally feel that. We agree, and I think it shows. It's not something you have to even describe at all, and it's right there. And we all feel it. To be honest, we literally do when we beatbox. We know it, and something I've personally just some before you came in, I was mentioning how we were in different places. Faya Braz, me, and IMO, everyone, all of us, D.Cross. We've been to events, we've done shows, we've met people. There is a language barrier, but you just do it. The energy speaks for itself. Beatboxing speaks for itself, and that's how it rolls. I've had some of the best experiences in my life because of beatboxing, not because I'm
that's right.
beatboxing only. It's not just like that. When someone goes like, what's that? Then you start elaborating and start telling a story. That's when, meaning comes out, and there's so much more light in it. I'm sure everyone agrees. I would love for all of you to give your perspectives. IMO, Faya Braz, D.Cross, Doggy Fresh is here. Things are happening. This is a good day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Salute to
Beautiful,
Razel
brother.
as well. He's been around. He has been commenting, and he's showering love to all the OGs, to everyone.
Razel, looking well.
The man.
That's my
The
man.
myth. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you, man, I love y'all brothers, man, and please continue to shine your light and pass this energy around. That's what it's all about. It's about positive energy, and it's about
Yeah.
uplifting energy, and it's about controlling energy and changing energy and make the energy do what you want it to do. Don't submit to the negative energy. You take your energy and destroy the negative energy with your powerful like just intense vibration of positive energy, and don't let it break you down, especially in these times, man. And
Right.
more than anything, man, just take care of yourself, man, and take care of the ones that you love. Don't take it for granted, because before you know it, man, in a blink of an eye, this life is over, and people that we love are gone. Another pioneer we lost recently, Andre Harrell, who is Dr. Jekyll from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Very, very close friend of mine. And I talked to him maybe 4 days before he died. And I didn't even know he was gonna pass away. But we had such a beautiful exchange, and we were talking, and he was sending me text messages, and he gave me such good energy, such positive energy, that I still have it now. Like, he gave that to me as a gift when he was transitioning, you know what I mean? And so it's important for us to give each other our acknowledgments and treat each other with respect while we're here, because sometimes, man, you'll be fascinated, man, on how quickly, you know, you turn around and out of nowhere, man, somebody close to you just checks up out of here, man. And that's not what we, you know, it's good to let people know and feel where you're coming from right now. You know,
Right.
that's just,
Right.
that's the way I live my life. You know, I live my life like that. I know we all are in our own zone and we all are going through our personal struggles, but you know, there's nothing wrong, man, with and it don't have to be a long thing. Just a little bit of, yo, what's good, man? I hope your family is well. Yo, I'm much love to you, my brother. You know, like just keep that energy vibrating, man, at a high level, man, because you'd be surprised that sometimes people need that. You know, people need that,
Yeah.
especially in these tough times, brothers. You know, and so I gotta go handle something for somebody, but I appreciate the time on the line, man. Much
Thank you for being
love
with
and
us.
much
Thank you very
respect, my
much.
brothers.
Thank you
Thank
very
Yes,
you,
much.
my
We
brother.
have been honored.
Yes.
Thank
And
you
we're
very
gonna
It's an
do
much.
it
honor.
again and again. And love to all of the people that was watching. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and continue to love and appreciate this thing we created called hip hop. The
Yeah.
fifth element. We still here, baby. We still
We
here.
are.
Yes.
Totally.
All right,
Yes.
y'all.
Sick.
Respect. Love and respect, man.
Love and respect, Dougie Fresh. Peace out. Thank
Love,
you.
peace. Ash?
What what was happening, guys? This is absolutely breathtaking and it's amazing.
That was totally sick. That was totally
Sick.
sick. But it is like I hope the most beatboxers possible saw this, because you know it shows that you saw he was talking about energy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can see the energy of the originator, and all the generation gave it to the an energy. What it became now in the beatbox is something really similar,
Right.
you know. So that I can totally relate when he says energy doesn't lie, you know. And beatbox is something like that. You know, it enlightened me about many things that I think yet, but he said it in a way that collabs are the main thing. And I think that if I take my personal case, I always, it's been a while I'm here, and I've done it through collabs a lot, sharing my experience with MCs, beatboxers, musicians, and stuff like that. And I think it's the key, and why people are so amazed about beatboxing. And I truly think, and Doggy Fresh is one of the best example. He's you know he's one of his lines, one of his description is the word greatest entertainer, and this is true because I really think, and I want to stay. I want to stay. I want beatbox stay humble, but I really think beatbox is the art, is something else on stage.
No,
You can
without a
give a
doubt.
mic to a rapper. You can give a mic to a I don't know, to a singer. You can give a mic. You can give an instrument to a piano player. The beatboxer will always blow the crowd away. You know, more than any other artist if it's done properly. You know.
An environment is created when a beatboxer does his or her
That's
thing.
crazy.
An
Everybody
entire
loves it
environment.
because you do
Unbelievable.
something with everything, with the material anybody has.
Yeah.
And people, you have two type of people. You have people like are enjoying a lot when you're on stage, and you have another type of people which is like that. How does he do that?
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to enjoy. They wanna know. They want to
They
know
want
the
to marvel
mystery.
at it.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's how as Doug said, beatboxing is really hard to master. I can
It is.
totally relate to some other artists trying to do it like it's nothing and realize it's something. You know, I can totally relate to this kind of behavior. You can, because people tend to think it's easy because they have the instrument on them.
Nah.
But once they
That's
try it,
because
they realize that wow, that's hard. And yeah, that's really interesting for from my point of view, this discussion. And and hearing Dougie Fresh speaking like that, really, it's really confirmed a lot of things I was thinking. And you know, sometimes you need people to say it in another way. And he's an elder, you know. Like now we were talking about the true old school beatboxers, you know. As he said, you can't go further, you know. And he really, to me, he really just took it back to the roots. And if we look at from, if we zoom on the beatbox today, we, you know, at least in all the mindset we all have in the beatbox community, we tend to go to this, you know, and we tend to go to this. And I talk about people that, you know, beatbox is a community that meets. We have to meet up, you know.
Right.
This is the main thing, and this is this really.
Yeah, that's where the power
I think
of
about many
exchange
things
is.
at the same time. Excuse my English. This is my mother
it's
language,
great.
but you know,
You've hit the points.
Yeah, it's really.
Faya Braz, you
really
hit the
dope.
points. You hit the points on, and I'm sure everyone can relate exactly what you're saying. We have bits and pieces all over, and I'm sure the entire discussion to whatever it has come to till now, everyone, you know, it's like you're kind of seeking an advice. Should I do this or should I not? And the person speaks something, and you're like, I was thinking the same, but he or she kind of shaped it for me. That's how these discussions actually take you somewhere.
Because he made it. We are making it. He made it.
And we're taking it forward.
We're taking it further. And, you know, I hope it will go on, because in 10 years, we will have some cats doing noises that we don't even think about.
Yeah.
Like it was the case 10 years ago. Like I remember maybe 20 years ago, we were pitching higher some beatbox videos. And we were like, imagine one day we can go that fast. Then Skiller video came out. Then it was real.
Boom.
Then it was real.
Yeah.
There was no pitch. There was Skiller. You know, things like that. I don't know. There's I don't know.
That's
maybe I'm going into maybe.
No.
Maybe
You're right.
IMO or D.Cross want to give their point of view, but maybe I will go many places. So I don't.
No, you're on point. IMO, please. You were saying. We can't hear IMO for some odd reason. Hello? Yes.
No, we can't hear you, bro.
All right, we'll get IMO back in just a bit.
While
D.Cross
is waiting, I want to ask something. So
yes.
One of the things that I think is so important is that we look at this as being able to have the foundation build wherever with who's doing it now, and also one of the things that had been what I found that had been an issue in human beatboxing and the whole thing is the issue of ageism. So when we get past saying, okay, well, somebody is this amount of years old, then we shouldn't pay attention to them. It should be a conversation. You know, it's like I look at in society, in a lot of societies, we don't look at our elders for the wisdom that we should. And vice versa, a lot of the elders don't always look at who's doing it right then and there for what they're doing and how they're innovating and how they're taking what they're given. So it has to be a constant exchange. One of the best experiences I had was I did a program called where it was a hip hop ambassador program, and I went over to Azerbaijan as you know, basically a beatbox mentor, hip hop ambassador, and the human beatboxers out there, they were so amazing, so eager to learn, but they were also very eager to be able to find the history and also build the community that they already had growing. You know, shout out to my man Zero, shout out, shout out to everybody that's out there in Azerbaijan. You know, I mean, yeah. So, there's a lot of talented beatboxers around the world. And I think one of the great things about the connection that we have with the internet is that we're all able to communicate in this form so that everybody is not operating specifically in a pocket. We're all able to exchange our stories. We're all able to exchange our experiences and be able to share. And it could be a situation like we were talking about where no words are exchanged. You might be oh, you in the elevator.
This is huge, man. This is huge.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
huge.
man.
And then like the smile. It's the same thing with one thing that nobody really mentioned, but when you're young, when you're a baby, when you're a child, you pick it up naturally. And it's something that's in you until adults tell you, shut up, stop that noise.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's in us. You know what I mean?
That's why people are amazed because we do this with the same material, but they don't get it, and it's fascinating. Beatbox is fascinating for this. It has a
Everyone's
true
done
power.
it when they were babies. Everyone's done. Well, I'm not saying beatboxing, but the whole formation of sounds, and
Sound, yeah.
we amplified it to what it is right now.
Because
Each of you,
it's primary. It's a primary feeling to me. I
Right.
think it's a primary feeling in other than words, communicate other than words. But it's a primary feeling. It's something primary, really like breathing, or I don't know. It's
Man,
really You talk from human to human. See,
exactly. And IMO, you were about to say something before you got cut off with the audio.
If
Please
you
continue.
just on what you guys are on about now, if you look up the English meaning for the word onomatopoeia, that is that was something that stuck with me. I think I was grade 5, and we learned, or grade 6, and the word onomatopoeia was taught to me, and it's stuck since then. That's boom, bap, wham. What you see in a comic book, like in a little bubble. That is
Right.
what beatboxing is. It's onomatopoeias that are structured so that we can make music. It's syllables. That's what it started off as, syllables.
Right.
And now it's moved on to more technically advanced sound structures. So it's like you guys, and we all agree, it's a language that formulated from something started off in the 80s under the banner that we recognize as hip hop. It was something that I also wanted to touch on that Dagi mentioned, and that I feel hip hop, and it was also something that Faya said as well, based on the industry, the music industry. Chesney also mentioned it. Beatboxing is something that can't be tainted. Reason being is because you can't take
exactly.
DMX can't do what Jay-Z does, because there's a different style in the way they do things as rappers. But give them lyrics and they can rap the same lyrics.
Yeah.
Beatboxers can't do that. You give a beatboxer the same track and it sounds completely different.
Yeah.
But what he's doing is a kick, a hi-hat, a snare, and it's different. So
It's still different. It's still different.
I think that's why
exactly.
I think that's why when I say it will never blow up, I think it's for this reason. It can't be tainted by the mainstream media. They tried it but never did it because they can't. As IMO said, you simply can't. If I give you a track from K.I.M, you can apply the same techniques and the same patterns, and you will never sound the same.
No. There was one thing also that Dagi had mentioned that had brought something up in my mind, and that was when he said Run DMC had done a track where they were beatboxing, but more to, I don't know, like poke fun at the fact that anybody can do it. I think
they couldn't succeed. That it just didn't go that way.
Well, if you look at Will Smith jumping around in Prince of Ballet, he used to beatbox there, but it was done more as a party trick, something to warm up the niece's heart, or it was done in a jokey way that could have been taken as in terms of anybody can do it. as in a disrespectful way, or anybody can do it in the sense of encouraging. So I don't know. There's like two sides to the coin. I don't know. Maybe D.Cross can add to that.
Yeah, yeah. So here's my take. Here's my take on it with human beatboxing. I feel that there is an argument that can be made like, yo, anybody can do it because anybody can speak. However, everybody's not going to be dedicated to it. Everybody is not going to look at it as an art form. Everybody's not going to take it as seriously. It is a way of communicating. I mean, I say this to say this because it's like I also teach young people how to, you know, beatbox or whatever. And you know, some of them, you know, they're not looking to become master beatboxers. They might be looking to help their speech or to be able to breathe better or just communicate or just be able to not be as shy of a person. So beatboxing, human beatboxing can be an icebreaker, but it also is a skill. It is a talent that can be built upon. And it's a way that we can be able to once again come back to communication. And just also to add on to why beatboxing may have never blown up or whatever, you know, that's a relative thing to think about. Like, okay, what is blown up? And the thing is a lot of times if people don't understand something or element or whatever, they don't necessarily know how to capitalize it. The music industry has tried to find ways to really, hey, capitalize it, but what caused things to die down a little bit during that what I call the dark period of human beatboxing, which is, I would say, from maybe 88, 87, 88 to like the early 90s, is a lot of the MCs started to disregard your human beatboxers, and a lot of, only because there wasn't the perceived financial money that was there, and they were like, well, how do we monetize it? Remember, our industry, anything that's industry is driven on how you make money. So they were like, well, how do we capitalize on it? Well, okay, if they're making beats with their mouth and they're putting it on record, then we don't necessarily need to do that because we have instruments. So it's that whole argument, back and forth, back and forth. So once again, it goes to a lack of understanding of an art form and appreciation for an art form. And one of the things that drove human beatboxing gets back to what Doug was saying about driving the MC and supporting the MC. One of the things that I found that was so helpful in the early 90s, mid 90s, was going to hip hop ciphers on the corner in New York or whatever, and in the underground, and they'd be like, oh man, we need beats. They wasn't carrying around boom boxes right then. So they was like, yo, they was tapping the beatboxers. And the beatboxers were humble enough to be able to show that love, to provide the foundation of a beat, and weren't always appreciated. A lot of times in a cipher, the human beatboxer was not appreciated. I know that being a beatboxer in a cipher and also relying on a beatboxer in a cipher while rhyming, I would be rhyming and then start beatboxing. They'd be like, whoa, no, wait a minute. You rhyming. You can't rhyme. You can't beatbox. Wait. We don't need each other. But we do need each other. So it's that community, that connection.
Yeah. Just man. IMO, please. Yes.
Yeah. Just you got me thinking there, and one of the first, in Cape Town, there hasn't been many beatbox events over the last 13 years of me being a beatboxer. But one of my first experiences at the hip hop event, I was actually booed off of stage, being one of 3 beatboxers trying to do a performance. And the reason why I was booed off was because, like I said, the European scene had influenced me. So the European scene was more EDM, drum and bass. It wasn't hip hop anymore. Hip hop as in the genre of music. it had the spectrum kind of widened. So when I had done my showcase, I think I was only beatboxing for about 2-3 years at the time, but still trying to do what I heard the Europeans doing. And somebody booed me off stage because it wasn't hip hop. It wasn't hip hop enough. They neglected the fact that beatboxing is the fifth element, And for me, within my personal capacity, I like to teach people that the fifth element is the healing element. It's the timeless element. That's the problem that the industry has with us. Bismarcky, Dougie Fresh, Rizal are timeless because nobody can do what they have done and they are doing. Same goes for Faya Braz, Alem, Skiller, all the new school kids. What Napalm does, nobody can imitate because Napalm is Napalm. The younger kids are starting to now become a little bit more emulating, where they're imitating each other so much you can't tell the difference who's who anymore, which is the dangerous thing. I think Pitch and Kata mentioned it a couple of weeks ago on one of her podcasts on Swiss Beatbox, where she said she as a judge can't judge and just close her eyes and say, okay, like it was 10 years ago, that's Alem, that's Skiller, that's this one. When you close your eyes now, it's very hard to define who's who. And for me, like, this conversation was also very important to me because it's like she said, that history and the foundation of beatbox has kind of like slipped aside, and that limelight, chasing that limelight of I am the best, I'm going to be the best, as kind of taken more focus in the world, and people have lost that sense of me in a healthy way because of beatboxing. Knowledge of self is not being self-indulgent as in the best I can be. It's understanding knowledge of self. My finger can only bend this far, I can't overexert it because it's going to break. That's me understanding my body. You can bend your finger and it's completely different. But that's me as a beatboxer. That's you as a beatboxer. And the scary thing about the international scene at the moment is, for me, is that historic facts are lost. And individuals as kids coming into the scene are losing their identity because history is missing. You guys kind of catch what I'm saying? Kids aren't learning kicks, snares. Like for me, starting in 2007, making that decision to take it on seriously, I still can't do what Bismarcky and Dougie Fresh were doing in the 80s. Maybe if your mother only knew from Rizal or something a little bit more recent, but the old school style I can't do. Give that information to the new kids, and there's like Dougie said, there's respect that's lost because what we do is a lot more technically advanced than therefore what you do is obsolete to us. It's
just more uniform to me. But it's way. I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of things like even the old heads, we can't do this. Like I remember a video like last year, was at the Florida Beatbox Battle. Oh, that was the after party. I showed a video of DOA to River and Kenozen. This is a really known, it's a classic video. When he starts beatboxing, both Kenozen and River both said, "Easy alone." That was, and to me, that was the end of the discussion. Like the old guys were not technical. This video is sick. Like like top guys of the moment. Like River said, "This guy is alone. I don't know this video," and if you bring, that's why roots is important. Origins are important. You can discover. Like I'm sure we can find anybody doing lip rolls in 2000. We just don't know the name. I bet there's a beatboxer.
Totally.
I'll tell you this.
2006, Iceful in France in 2006 was doing it. In 2005, 6 was already doing it.
So to touch on that, before my line broke up earlier on and I had to drop the call and reconnect, I was going to touch on this. Historically, if you look at the chronological timeline of the internet, being involved. Swiss Beatbox, the world champ since 2005. You're looking at an evolution where it was, okay, 2005, Australian took the world champs. The first world champs was an Australian. The second was Zidi. Third was Skiller. Fourth was Alem. It's only Europe. What happened in the fourth world champs, 2015, was the biggest change, and that's where beatboxing blew up completely, because for the first time in 5 or 4 world champs, America actually featured in a final. Before that, it was just Europe.
Yeah.
2015 happened, Napalm came on with the lip roll, Kenny Urban came on with certain technicalities and techniques, and I swear to you guys now, if I must give you references, Dume, Defa, the old school beatboxers, those were the guys.
Defa, Dume.
No systems.
Kim loves them. He loves them. He's a true fan.
No systems.
No Sif.
Yeah.
He's there. Kim, come on.
It was Zurich 2010 or 2009. Grand Beatbox Battle wasn't even Grand Beatbox Battle. Ish. It was the what was it, the Grand Beat? It was the Beatbox Battle Showdown. It wasn't GBV first. The Beatbox. That's where Nosif came from. Nosif system with another guy I remember. Dume, Defa. So for me, those were the guys that were doing lip rolls, that were doing lip oscillations, and nobody gave them credit. Where, for me, you guys get where I'm going to. Where are the credit given to all these guys when Napalm's like the master lip roller? What happened to Duma and Taifa? They're not beatboxing or performing as big as what they were, but those were the guys doing lip oscillations in 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
We
know this new generation doesn't know. They have to know.
BC and Scotch-O-Matic for them.
Il a le micro, t'inquiète, c'est ce micro-là.
No, as Dougie Fresh mentioned, and you also mentioned it, is we have to look back, and as something Faya Braz mentioned, someone probably did lip rolls in 2000, and just as you said, IMO, a lot of people don't know. This is information that people need to know, but where, when, how, and what?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Swiss Beatbox has an archive of nearly or over probably 3,000 videos. Go look at the first 1,000 videos that Peponi had posted, and you will see what I am talking about.
The early ones, for sure.
When you're talking about European history, where Europe came together, and it was like Hungary, Bulgaria, this country, that country, all sitting in parks, jamming with each other, playing the beatbox game. That's where all these things originated from. And for me, it's like Swiss beatbox carries a lot of rich history in what it's exposed for the European scene.
But I also have to add in, if you don't mind me, I'm sorry, I'm just butting in, is totally agree on the SBX part. I've had a big chat with Peponi as well. I met him. And it's amazing how this whole energy comes in as well. But yes, the first few videos, not the new, highly amazingly, properly fine-tuned, produced ones, the early stage, right? Like the beginning. You also have to hand it to Beatbox Battle TV. They have had in-depth videos. Bilo just blew it. In-depth videos. Reaps one, that legendary video. And so many other, Michael Winslow, and so many videos out there, and so much, and you get to know so much.
Baba Israel and all those guys.
Baba Israel.
Back in the days, humanbeatbox.com, beatboxing.com,
humanbeatbox.com,
beatboxing.com.
People need to read them up. I follow HBB. I follow HBB information all over. Every single thing's written right there. All of you are written right there.
Yeah, we are all in there.
I'm even talking to you. Yeah. Freaking amazing.
The first because we are in a BoxCon right now, so this is Beatbox Convention, but initially this is a true event, 3D live, and it was in 2003. This is an event at the after party. We met Faith over there. He was 16 years old. He was beatboxing for 9 months, and we were in Mindspun, and we were like, "Yo, keep on doing what you do. This is hardcore." And then he blew up like, I don't know, 2 years later.
Faith SFX.
Yeah, Faith SFX.
Oh, yes.
I'm talking about Faith. I'm talking about Faith SFX. I'm talking about guys like that.
Mad
know,
respect, man. Mad respect.
you
Yeah.
are and this was at the Beatbox Convention. So this is a cycle. We are at the Beatbox Convention right now.
Dude, this is I can't believe it. This is
crazy.
history in the making, man. Just,
This
wow.
is
My
truly
God.
history.
Wow.
This is awesome now to see. Nowadays we are able to do this, and we have to keep on sharing as we do, because we are on the good way to do this, and we have to keep on being more and more creative. A shout out to Collapse, who is in the room just beside me.
Shout out to Collapse. Brilliant
Shout out to
content.
Collapse, who is, to my perspective, one of the most creative in terms of content on YouTube right now. He's
All his
redoing
videos, great
he's
work.
redoing different things, you know. And this is things important things, you know.
Yeah,
Different contents, different. Really, we can many creativity now. Beatbox, you can come up with beatbox and do so many different things. And I think to stay on what we talked a bit. I'm switching a bit of our topic, but we talked a bit earlier about is it only competition, or is it only? And I think I think this is a yin yang thing. This is a balance, because we stay hip hop, and it's still a hip hop culture. So battle is really important. It comes from there, but we have to understand. I think that's how I understand it. When you're young, you usually start beatboxing when you're young, and you want to know where you are. You want to know where you are. What is your level? You wanna progress, and it can help you as a young cat to develop your self-confidence, to develop humbleness, to develop respect, to develop the origin, feeling, the feeling of wanting to go and see further, the feeling of wanting and going to meet your idols, because beatboxers, we all may be idols, but all beatboxers are really, you can really speak easy with each other when you come to events. And this is really what, this is really, I think we care a lot for each other in the beatbox, at least more than in other communities. This is how we can make it grow and make it, I really, yeah. I don't know. I have many things to say at the same time. This is a yin yang. This is a yin yang thing. The other side is like the outside is the beatbox. Now, if you want to do shows, this is the inside, and you take your inside and you put it in an artistic form. And I think both elements of competition and showcasing and art and are really complementary. We don't have to focus too much on battling, but it's an important scene, and there's a lot of good artists coming from this scene.
There's growth as well.
So I think we don't have to neglect competition too much, but we don't have to focus too much on it. It has to stay positive. It has to say positive emulation, And I think this is how it works, actually. But we have to document ourselves and know. Can I say just one last thing? For example, the most obvious example for me is the West Side routine by Alem. This is the best example I can give to you. He keeps saying it. Alem is a big fan of Mike's poem. He keeps saying it. The West Side routine is Mike's poem routine. It has never been an Alem routine. And Alem says it. And I've worked on this routine with Mike Spawn. I've seen the routine come up. And he did it in 2006, And Alem is a big fan. There's a lot of beatboxers that they don't know this. And if you talk with Alem, he will tell you this. He will tell you, yeah, of course. The egg technique of Alem. This is not of Alem. This is Mike Spawn.
Yeah.
And I know how to do it because we worked it together. We were like we were like hanging together every day for years. He beat me in 2006 in semi-final with the I know how to do it because I worked it with him. And you know, you get many things like that. You know, there is a lot. I think Kim has a lot to say about this. I think a lot of beatboxers they have a lot to say about their influences, and this is why we keep saying go and dig into the roots and dig into the origins, because you may think you know, but you may not know. Sorry for my English and my accent.
No.
Don't apologize for that.
No, he's spot on.
Funny. Seeing that I have you online now, Faya, the kiss.
Yeah.
That was you. That
is me. Yes, the kiss control.
The kiss control. Now that I've been practicing for most probably the last 10 years, trying to get that that kissing technique.
You may have better than me now. BMG is killing it. You know?
Yeah. I've been practicing, but like I heard it from you and I saw you do it. I think 2009 maybe.
This is one of the first things I was doing. I'm doing this since 2003, maybe the things like that.
And now what happens with that is like every other person who starts off something slow because it's a new technique that they've learned, you will get a kid or someone else that just takes that, tries to perfect it for themselves and add in something else, and boom, all of a sudden you've got a new sound or a new technique or new technical advancement from that. And for me, like there's certain techniques that people don't do. And the kissing technique, like for me, I never heard anyone do it on the battle scene except you.
There's BMG now who took it really seriously. For the kiss control.
It works. But
and like, for instance, for the kiss control, I can tell you something. BMG has developed something. He has developed a hi-hat pattern, which is really useful. He uses the kiss control, but he uses and it's like he uses a lot. He uses this. Okay, now this pattern comes in reality from Mr. Lips. Mr. Lips was doing it like he was doing, and BMG was a big fan of Under Control, and he took the kiss control. He heard, I remember the event, it was in Switzerland, and then Mr. Lips was really shocking this day. It was really on fire, and Alem and BMG were there in the festival. We were playing all together, and they were like, what the fuck, what is this groove? Because Mr. Lips, he don't have the credit he deserves, but he was like one of the best just beatbox drummers of France. Really, of grooves and stuff like that. And he really inspired Alem and BMG a lot too. And he was doing that. BMG just took and he took the kiss that he liked, and instead of doing, he did, and then reversed it, and then he did. And then he went on the kiss control and stuff like that. If you know the history of techniques, you will be able to understand more what you do now and go further with the technique because you know where it comes from.
Now that's why I wanted to.
You just don't copy and paste. You know, you understand.
I think it's important to just like hearing all of the experiences, because even just the sounds, you know, what happens is you know, a lot of times when you're creating sounds and you're doing pre-internet, you know, you're working in a bubble and you're not necessarily knowing what else is out there. Like I'm hearing what y'all was saying about the kissing sounds like that. there are a lot of, matter of fact, I heard Kenny doing kissing sounds and things of
Of
that
course,
nature.
there's
It's
a
like,
thousand
yo,
people doing it.
and
Of
it's a
course,
connection.
of
You know
course.
way, and I've heard, it's funny with the kissing sounds, and this is a bizarre story. I heard it was an elder gentleman. This is back in, I would say this is back in the 90s. And he rolled up to a cipher, and he was, you know, I guess he was half high, half drunk or whatever. And when he started beatboxing, or his attempt at beatboxing, he was like making kissing sounds, but he was like, I mean, his drums was like, but he was like, and everybody was looking like, yo, but then everybody was like, yo, is he trying to kiss us? What the hell is going on? So it's just like, I'm saying all of this to say that, you know, we're realizing now that we don't operate in a bubble. And then there's almost nothing new under the sun, which is, I think, something that Doug was really emphasizing. Like, yeah, here it is. I had this idea, but he recognized everything that came before him. Same thing with Rozelle recognizes those who came before him, the Michael Winslows, the Al Jarreaus. You know what I'm saying? So it's like taking whatever you can uniquely do and internalizing it and having fun with it and being able to master it. For me, vocal scratching was something that I put in and started doing because I wanted at one point to be a DJ, but sucked at it. And the thing is I listened to Jam Master Jay.
You got some crazy scratches, bro. You got some crazy scratches.
Thank you. I mean, I listened to
Sick
Jam
ones.
Master Jay and listen to his whole routine where he would bring in Run from Run DMC, but everybody run, 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 run. I listened to that routine back in 1984, 85, over and over and over again. And when I initially tried to make the sound, you know, it hurt my throat because I didn't know how to make the sounds, but I knew that I wanted to make that sound. I tried to do it on a turntable. My hands weren't nimble like that, so I just listened to those sounds. Then going to listening to Flash actually scratching with
Bro.
Ah!
Damn.
flat, and listening to the turntable.
That's sick,
like,
bro.
Yo,
Dope, man. So brilliant.
So it's
Respect,
like, it's just like finding what works for you. Incorporating just the words was like, yo, the first person I heard was like, yo, Biz Markie. I was like, yo, that's dope. I started as an MC. The sounds were always there, you know, because we all made sounds like when we were children, but it was like putting that together. So putting the scratch sounds, putting the word sounds, and putting all of that together. And then years later, connecting and meeting with Luck, it was so dope because it was like, yo, he had a thing where he was incorporated. He was like, yo, and he had words in there. And I was like, yo, I got words in there. And it was so dope. But it's recognizing that people have connections, people have similarities, but people do what they do the way that they do it. I mean, shoot, Luck was able to say, yo, I'm gonna give it a name and say beat rhyming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like I was like, yo, that's dope. You know, I was like, I looked at it like, yo, I'm juggling words. You know, vocal acrobatics, which later merged into vocal beat expression. So I'm just saying that all of that to say that different things that we just bring to the table, bring it to the table. Yeah.
You're sick, bro.
Man.
I love this.
This is absolutely amazing. And as Faya Braz mentioned it, IMO mentioned it, and of course D.Cross, you guys taking those bits and pieces from the ones you've heard and then making it on your own, then taking it forward. BMG, as you said, did his stuff. Alem did, and he follows Mike Spawn. And of course, as you should, as Dougie Fresh mentioned, not only look back, but also, hey, yes, you've made this, right? Okay, let me do this a bit better. Then it gets better. Then it gets better. Something that I mentioned to Dougie Fresh a while back.
That's
You
the
write the
thing.
book. The 10th guy writes a book, which is based on the 9th and the 8th. And the 20th guy writes it. But hey, it starts all the way back here. And if that's not perfect, it doesn't go there. But that's how it is, man. The history. Wow.
That's really what you said just before. That's like we have an idea and then we just apply. Like if you have a little wheel, then you realize you can do it just bigger and then bigger, and it's easy to, you know.
Exactly.
And it's kind of the same thing. It's really this discussion was mind blowing.
I'm still trying to feel it. It's just amazing. But we have all discussed. Well, you know what? There is no end to it. To be honest, there's so much we still want to talk about. But right now, the bits and pieces that we have already taken in has to, sink in. And of course, we would like more people to, of course, know more. And as this is going to be an archive, because what we are missing right now, this discussion is unearthing a lot of things. Like some people didn't know a lot about things that you mentioned, Faya Braz, what D.Cross mentioned, IMO, your perspective, priceless. And the way you put it, by the way, hats off. I love the way you talk. And Dougie Fresh, of course. Words,
as Dougie Fresh said, we have to tell the story as it is.
Exactly.
Not as people want it to be. You know?
Yes.
It's totally true that you can't get the credit for everything. You have to give credit for people who really deserve it.
No, totally.
And there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this, because this is knowing your art. This is knowing what you do. This is knowing where you come from and where you go.
Yes, and of course, if all of you have your contributions and you want to speak about it, you know what to do. BoxCon Global, the convention. This is where it's tight, where it's all happening, where you get to have all the information. Of course, I do have to give a shout out to Chesney Snow, because that just hit home. It hit home because we are doing a look back to the entire discussion that happened in the last. Well, it's been 3.5 hours, and you know what? I didn't feel a thing. To be honest, it felt like
3 hours? Oh,
this is
God.
where I belong. Bro, yes, it is.
Wow.
And wow, there we go. And of course, I do want to mention, as I mentioned, sorry, I'm saying it twice. It's like a double. Chesney Snow, whatever you said, yes, there are things as we were progressing towards the entire, looking back in the history, bits and pieces, something, Faya Braz, you were trying to mention as just a while back. I'm like, am I saying the right things? You were. We're all speaking the puzzle pieces, then all of them comes together. It's thousands, it's hundreds, it's millions, but we have to be the ones putting them. And the ones who are watching, like the new beatboxers, the new scene, the new enthusiastics, everyone. You guys need, you know what you need to do. This archive is for you guys. This is where you take it forward. We got it from them, then we'll pass it on to you, and that's how it goes. That's how history, just gets stored. And so shout out to everyone: Faya Braz, Chesney Snow, Deep Thoughts, Deep Insight, D.Cross, your OG, and I'm blown away, to be honest, and it's amazing that I'm getting to share this moment, and the scratches is just mad. And IMO, mad respect, man. Amazing work. And you have, like I mentioned a while back, I love conversations. As you can see, I'm right here. And it's amazing how you put your thoughts into words. And of course, I do want to mention this conversation will continue on the eCast, which is our podcast show. And it'll be coming up in the week. So shout out to the entire BoxCon Global team. Shout out to everyone who's been here. Shout out to Razel.
Big up, big ash to anybody who is watching. Big shout out to the BoxCon global team. Big shout out to Yason. Big shout out to all the UK fam. Rupert, Basics, Hobbit, Zany, Bolzy, Bellatrix, Experimental, Esh. All these guys, because I just want to remind you that this is BoxCon Global and the UK fam is once again killing it. You are once again doing history. And I want to thank you guys for having me, having us. And thank you guys for your kindness, your good words. IMO, I wish we can meet again really soon. We couldn't achieve what we started last time, but I hope we can do it soon. And thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, D.Cross. Thanks to Doggy Fresh for having been there and told. That was so enlightening. And thanks massive host to the host today. Make some noise to the host and massive Ash. Massive Ash. Because it's really late, guys, in Bangladesh right now. He deserves 1,000 Ash. Spam Ash in the comments. Ash.
It's dawn, man. We did this from night to day. But you know, anything for beatbox, and of course, massive respect to the BoxCon Global team. Yasun, thank you for picking me for this as well. It's I have to mention getting to speak to Dougie Fresh, Faya Braz, Hugh, getting to speak to D.Cross, IMO.
Congratulations, everybody. That was legendary. Thank you.
Mad respect, brother.
Let's
Mad
keep
respect.
the conversation going, y'all.
Totally.
That was sick. I hope next time we can do this in real life, guys. I would love to have this conversation in a proper room, in a proper venue.
That'll be the day, and hopefully
in a
this
proper
pandemic
event. I don't know where on this planet, but it would be so dope.
Like I said, no borders, bro. Literally no borders. We will meet in a place, and if this is happening, that will happen. This is one of the most positive things I have seen it during this pandemic, and if this can happen, anything can happen. And yes,
thank you very much. That was epic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And of course, I do want to give a shout out to all the communities who are struggling. There are many communities, they're still starting out, and they look up to you guys, and the information that they got in the last few hours, this is priceless. So if you just joined in 5 minutes ago or an hour ago, even 2 hours ago, watch this later. It'll be available on BoxCon Global's social medias. There's so much you can learn. Watch it again and again. If you missed it, watch it again. Trust me, I'm a history buff. I know how priceless this conversation is. And of course, I want to give a shout out from Beatbox Bangladesh, the community that I'm part of, and all the Bangladeshi youngsters. They're trying to do their best. It's struggling, but we'll all get there. If you guys can do it, obviously we'll just follow the path and we'll work our way. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
I would like to do a last shout out for my group, EOG, End of the Game. We will be doing like solo. We can't plug 4 mics, so it will be like solo showcase after this. And I want also big shout out to French Beatbox family, Fufu, Alex, Tabit, and I want to shout out Fufu, Le Plus Futé, all the team, Jean Bibi, etc. All the French beatbox team. That was really nice having. Sorry for my English, it's late, but you understood my feeling.
You're saying it on spot, bro. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Alex,
by the way,
Tabit, yes, and Big Ben, Nick Taras. Okay, that was the last one.
All right, Razel, Click, the Super Latin, and Kid Luck, and Afra, and Peponi. They were all here in the chat, and they were showering us with information and everything. Everyone who was here.
Oil, cream. You will get the message.
And D.Cross and IMO, if you have something to say before we conclude this panel discussion.
IMO?
D.Cross.
Yes, D.Cross, please.
I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. IMO.
Okay, IMO. Yeah.
Me first? Yeah, I just like to say a huge thanks for the opportunity. Couple of years ago, I would never have thought of even sitting on a discussion panel with OGs and legends, like I said before. Shout out to the African community, all the African founders, Promise, Novel, Scooter, my man Bubo up in Morocco, the guys out in Kenya, all the local guys here in South Africa. Shout out to you guys as well, Beatbox Culture SA. I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Africa, and hopefully this is inspiring to all those guys, and hopefully those African founders can also get the opportunity to speak and let the world hear about their experiences and how they became beatboxers. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Shout out to Yazon, Swiss Beatbox, Peponi, Rizal, all the guys who made beatbox what it is today. Give thanks to the Most High. Namaste.
Yeah, man, we have just begun, man. We have just started at D.Cross.
Yeah, just the ultimate shout out to everybody. Thank you for having me be a part of this wondrous dialogue or conversation. I mean, it's amazing to see where human beatboxing has gone. I mean, I can honestly say when I was a kid over 30 years ago, maybe feel old, but yeah, close to 40 years ago, it never envisioned it going as far as it has gone today, and how far that it can go, and how it can actually heal us, elevate us, and connect us. And for us to be able to keep that spirit going on, and to be able to recognize its roots, recognize where it has been, where it's going, talk about the good, talk about the bad, talk about all of that in between, so that we can have those dialogues, and so that we can all grow, and so that we can all be able to be the best human beings that we can possibly be, just under the banner of, not only just hip hop, but under the banner of human beatboxing, and being able to use our voice to be able to say what needs to be said and say something. And I humbly just say, thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Peace.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. You can try that. Ah, Poupou et Skouya, ils dorment. Mais non, je savais pas, moi. Okay, Collapse is sleeping and Skouya is sleeping. Okay.
Let's go a bit old school, guys. Let's go back to
the roots. I'm the old guy. The young guys are sleeping.
Okay, so we
no, Kim is there, but Kim is unkillable. You can't kill Kim. He's the final boss. When you do a party, Kim is the final boss. He will never go to bed before you. Never.
Let's start with D.Cross. Let's pass it on.
Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
So we
Woo!
Vibrate, get some. Vibrate.
IMO. Vas-y, hein, viens cliquer. Hein. Yeah.
pass it on to Kim now.
All right. Shout out, Simo. Big up everybody. Shout out to BoxCon. Shout out to Yason. Shout out, Simo.
Big up, everybody.
All right, all right.
Woohoo!
Big up, big up.
Oh, all right, all right.
Rock it out, Milo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, Ish.
yes.
Ish.
And yes, we have come to the end of today's panel discussion, History of Beatboxing. It has gone so deep, and I don't think we even touched a lot of things yet. We will, and this will go on because there's so many stories to talk about. There's so much history we need to discuss. There's so much that will happen. And as I mentioned just a little while back, of course, this conversation will continue on the eCast, which is a podcast show, BoxCon Global. This is where it's happening. This is where you need to be, and check out the archive later on. All right. Shout out to everyone. Much love and respect. Keep beatboxing. Keep the
Cheers,
beat up.
fam. Yes.
Peace out.